Do, 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 do. What am I doing? What am I doing?
Yeah, it says it's a very IRH Christmas still.
Oh, does it?
Yep.
Ah. Well,
Stream over. You done ruined it. Send it back.
about
Shut
to
it
get,
Fire
down.
him.
about to get Christmassy.
No more episode 200.
Skeeter, what's up, dude? Hey, Skeeter. Whitney had a question. She wanted to know if you filed your canines down or if that was natural. Or I guess sharpened your canines or if that was natural. Yeah, she also followed it up with Skeeter says it was natural. She also followed up with he doesn't seem weird enough to be the sort of guy that would do something like that, but his teeth are crazy looking. Jeffrey, you look great in tie-dye, man.
Who, me?
Yeah, you. No,
Thanks,
the
man.
other Jeffrey.
I was talking, but I was muted, so I didn't know who you said because I was
Hmm.
talking over you to myself. Um, I want to know why when you type in the chat here on Riverside, it doesn't shoot over to Twitch.
It does. It just takes a minute. I think.
Does it?
Jeff,
Maybe.
what do you think about the color?
I like it, man. Looks
It's
good.
not black. It's like a gray, dark gray blue, but it looks really nice.
Yeah, it's good. That's kind of like what I have. It's like a gray blue. It just looks
Mhm.
kind of black on camera.
Yeah.
But it looks good for continuity too, because yours and mine are almost the same color on camera here. You know what I
Well,
mean?
this is all going to get decked out later on. I'm going to build floating shelves and have the TV I took down. I want it to be right in this area and have like the Infinite Rabbit Hole logo on behind me type stuff. So
Right.
probably do some RGB lights around it so it like has some underglow or whatever.
Ooh, we got somebody
Yeah,
on
see, like
YouTube.
it doesn't go all the way to the down. Pisses me off. It's okay. I can chat here on my phone.
It smells like fresh paint in here. It's nice.
That is always a good smell. Until you hit your vape and then the fumes ignite and the whole room goes up and you're one of those assholes that died because of your vape.
Life sucks, then you die sometimes, you know?
You ever heard that song? Well, who writes that metal song? Life sucks and then you die. I don't know. I think Upon a Burning Body has a song. It's like a breakdown.
Mm.
Life sucks and then you die.
Upon a Burning Body is a pretty good band. I like them.
It's a great band. Yeah, Jeremy listens to good music, believe it or not.
That almost makes up for the movie thing.
Yeah, Jeremy makes it.
Almost makes up.
He listens to good music.
Listen, it is what it is.
I got recommended to listen to Era for one of my coworkers.
Do it.
Era's one of my
Yeah,
favorites. It's in my list.
I listened to a whole album by them, and I liked it. It was like the balance between the hard stuff and then a really nice melody, really good singing and stuff like that. And they just seem to match it so well. I'm like, this is dope.
You know what's good about that band too is it's very technically inclined. Like they're very good musicians on top of everything. They're
And
doing
they're all
hard shit.
brothers,
And
apparently.
no, they're not all brothers, but I think a couple of them are. But the guitar player that's the lead guitar player is also the guy who's singing. So
Mm.
like when you're watching them do it live, he's doing the hard taps while
Yeah.
he's doing the high singing, and it's just like it's mesmerizing to watch musicians like multitask like that. It's crazy
Oh, sure. Yeah.
and do it well.
Yeah.
I just modded Skeeter.
Nice.
Ooh, now Skeeter gets the fancy mod view. I love mod view
I do too.
on here. It's so nice.
I don't even know what mod view is.
Ooh, we got 9
It just
people
gives
in here.
you some tiles and stuff that you can like do some quick actions. You have like a few more things that you can.
So
You can
what, like
ban
the
people.
this block, the clock, the triangle, and then the trash can?
I have a few. I have like I can do a quick clip, so it'll just take like a 1 minute clip, I think.
Hey, for those in the
Um,
chat, we will be doing giveaways today.
Giveaways?
Yeah. You see these shirts that we're wearing? Do you want one?
Do you?
Mm. Do you? Do you want one, chat?
Do you want one, punk? Ah,
Nobody-
yes. Look at these shirts that Katie made for us.
These are pretty sweet.
They are sweet, aren't they?
Yeah, they're dope.
I like having a tie dye shirt in the closet, and I think I just recently got rid of my only other one.
I like how they're different.
Well, yeah. They're
So
tight.
it's not like you got it like screen printed or whatever, but it's just like they're all different from each other. So, you know, Jeff is different from mine.
Mine's the coolest. That's awesome. I've seen this guy on like TikTok and shit, and he makes these like super intricate tie dye shirts, like Mario and stuff. You guys seen this guy?
No.
Mm-mm.
Like super duper intricate, 4K imagery type shit with tie dye.
4K
And you see him making
imagery,
it.
you say, huh?
Yeah, and like the shirt is just in like such a crazy shape with all the rubber bands, and
Mhm.
like he's just super meticulous with placing the color. It's insane.
You should throw one of the videos in the chat. And check it out.
You
Dude.
got it. Crystal's gonna do it. Crystal's fucking on it.
Well, I mean, you could do this chat,
What
but I
up,
mean, like, I
Crystal?
meant like just like the Infinite Rabbit Hole chat or whatever, and like Messenger or something.
I haven't figured
Should
out
put the
how we're
link-
going to give people shirts.
You mail it to him.
No, I know that. I know that. I'm just trying to figure out.
You find out who wins, you get their sizes, you make a shirt in that size, and you mail it to them.
No, I
Look at that.
Right.
but
I'm
how do we
amazing.
decide who wins? That's
How
the
do we
thing.
decide? Oh, who
Yeah.
wins?
I know how to get it to
Uh,
them.
We have to have some sort of contest.
Yeah. What sort of contest?
First
Best feet.
person that could name off a episode at what number, or what did we do for Christmas last year, or something like that.
Huh. I don't know. We gotta make it fair because YouTube's a little
Yeah,
bit
share.
behind Twitch. It's like 15, 20 seconds behind. So I don't know how we're gonna do this.
What happened to that guy that freaking? What was he doing last episode? He was like trying to like ask a question, and we were just focused on the Twitch chat. So he just said, "Screw it, I'm out."
Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. He probably went and cried somewhere. Oh, Crystal just put the link in the chat to the Instagram page for the guy who does the super intricate tie dye.
Nice, I'll check it out. Austin Makareth. Oh my gosh, our freaking these are dope. Our freaking cashier at PetSmart, his name was Davin. Like his parents were like, "Oh, we like I like David. Well, I like Gavin. All right, Davin." And I'm like, "Ugh."
We got 12 people in Twitch. We got a couple people in YouTube too.
I'm trying to fucking
I'm about to share
the
this right
hell,
now
dude?
so everybody in the chat can see it. Here we go. Look at this. This guy makes some legit tie dye. What's his name? Dyes and Good Vibes.
Oh, dude,
Austin
bro.
McCareth.
that alien shirt is wild.
It glows in the dark, dude.
Bro,
Look at this. These are tied. These
that's
are
a-
like handmade.
That's a UFO Day shirt right there.
These are insane, man. Oh, I gotta log in. No, I don't want to log in. Oh no, people can see my stuff. Get out
Oh
of
no,
here.
they're gonna see all the all the OF models you follow. Oh no.
Damn.
Excuse me?
Yeah. Crystal didn't know, but I know. YouTube. Let me see if I can pull up our YouTube chat so we can.
Instagram's for the birds, dude.
I need a
X is
freaking.
where it's at now. You are the media.
I need like 3 monitors. I want to have
Well, for
you
those
guys
who
going on
died in the
one,
chat.
Twitch going on another one, freaking YouTube on another one, so I can see all the chats going at once.
Well, you can see all the chats if you watch the one that's on Riverside. But it just YouTube's so far behind.
Yeah, YouTube sucks. We need to do this on Rumble.
Yeah,
Rumble's way better.
I highly recommend that if you are watching this on YouTube, that you should be watching it on Twitch.
So the giveaway is going to be restricted to Twitch. We got to first of all make that clear, right? Because that's the thing that I think we're trying to build the most right now, just to get to that affiliate status. So giveaway on Twitch. You got to be here on Twitch in order to win the shirt. First of all, that's the first criteria.
What we'll do
on Twitch.
Ooh, Crystal, can you help out? Is Crystal there? Crystal.
Yeah.
Crystal.
What's up?
Crystal.
I'm listening.
You got
Oh my gosh, will you listen?
Shit, never mind. Maybe we can't have Crystal do it. It needs to be one of us.
What?
Because I was gonna say we'll take everybody's name who's active in the chat. We'll throw it in like a random draw website where you put in their names and then hit random, and whoever it is wins. But we can't show them us doing it if Crystal's doing it because she doesn't have a screen for us to
I
see.
do have a screen.
But not for us to see.
Yeah, I'm on her computer.
Are you?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
Oh, so she can do it on your screen?
Bro, I'm in the most professional fucking. So you have no idea, bro. I'm in front of
How
my
the
own
hell,
screen,
dude?
but her computer.
This is making me crazy.
All right. Well, then let's do
I
that.
got a producer,
Crystal, you down?
Okay.
I'm down.
She's got it.
Cool. All right.
You want to
So-
go to the moon? She can send us to the moon. Okay.
I need
We
help.
got this.
How about that?
What do you need
You
help
need
with?
images of
I'm-
Uranus? We can
I've
do
got this
that too.
freaking Twitch screen open, and all I can see is us, and it won't allow me to see the chat. And I don't know how to open it up.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
Well, you just need to figure it out. You're a grown ass man, Jake.
For those who died, Crystal fucks.
Aren't you? Don't you work on planes and shit? You can't figure out how to open up the,
Look,
the
man,
fucking
I'm not,
chat?
I'm not in IT, all right? I'm not sitting here doing computer shit.
Nobody
I ain't a
fly
nerd.
again. Nobody ever fly again.
All right, you guys ready to get this
Especially with
started?
the US Navy shooting down their own planes. You all better watch out.
Crystal
Okay.
is a badass kid. Crystal is the new Jamie. All right, step aside, Jamie, because Crystal's coming through.
You guys ready?
Yeah.
All right. I think I got an intro for this. We'll do the first giveaway right after we introduce the hosts.
No trying to fucking. I see you, Skeeter, in the chat trying to hook a guy up with the shirts. No, there's no.
It's gonna be random.
We're doing random here, bud.
I'm gonna take the sunglasses off to read.
Dude, you look so groovy.
Bro, I feel groovy.
Dude, you're a groovy little slut.
Ooh, I feel all slutty and groovy.
Heck yeah,
All right.
dude. For those who died, I'm a 4XL. Jeez.
4XL. I'll just have to order that shirt. I just don't have a 4XL. But if he wins, gets it. I got this.
Fair
All right,
enough.
ready to roll?
Yep.
All right. In 1992, ethnobotanist Terence McKenna introduced a groundbreaking theory addressing a long-standing mystery in proto-human development. In his book, Food of the Gods, The Search for the Original Tree of Knowledge, McKenna presented his hypothesis, sparking debates and decades of intrigue and deep discussion. For years, scientists have debated one pressing question. How did the human brain double in size over a mere 10,000 years, when evolutionary changes typically take millions of years to alter physical forms. This rapid growth paved the way for cognitive and social advancements, ultimately shaping the modern humans we are today, complete with societies, beliefs, and cultures. McKenna's theory aligns with the widely accepted savanna hypothesis, which suggests that early humans transitioned from treetops to life on the ground due to receding forests caused by climate change. While the savanna hypothesis explains how we evolved into upright, hairless beings, transitioning from the genus Pan to Homo, McKenna's focus was on our brain's extraordinary evolution. Specifically, he questioned how our ancestors achieved such rapid advancements in brain size and intelligence. As our ancestors adapted to life on the African savanna, they encountered something absent in the trees: animal shit. Specifically, the feces of grazing herbivores, such as hooved animals that roam the grasslands. This dung provided the perfect environment for a certain type of fungus to grow, a fungus containing psychoactive compounds. It only took one curious primate to pick up a mushroom from a pile of dried shit, chew it, and experience a psychedelic journey. According to McKenna, this seemingly simple act marked the beginning of humanity's extraordinary cognitive evolution. This pivotal moment, when our distant ancestor consumed a psychedelic mushroom growing in animal dung, may have set humanity on a trajectory of enlightenment. McKenna proposed that this event unlocked new ways of thinking, laying the groundwork for religion, culture, technology, language, art, architecture, and even self awareness. Today, we explore Terence McKenna's Stoned Ape Theory. Welcome back to Infinite Rabbit Hole. All right. Welcome to Infinite Rabbit Hole, everybody. Today, on this groovy Sunday, on our 200th episode, we're going to talk about the Stoned Ape Theory. We're also going to introduce the host. Since Jake always gets really mad that I introduce him first, we're going to introduce
Every
Jeff.
time.
Jeffrey,
What's up?
how you doing, man?
Chilling.
Feeling
Chilling
groovy
like Bob
tonight?
Dylan, bro. Huh?
Feeling groovy?
I'm feeling pretty groovy, man. Yeah, I'm stoked. This is one of my favorite topics in general. Super interesting.
It
So,
is. It's fucking awesome. It
yeah,
gave
and
me
these
a
shirts are cool, bro. And I like that mine has a lot of purple on it because it's my favorite color.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we could have purpled you up a little bit better then.
Well, now you know.
Well, now I know. I guess you're just gonna have to buy one.
Feel free to purple mine up.
Oh, can you pin my chat message so that it stays up for all the newcomers in the chat and the one with the alerts on it? That way everybody knows what's going on.
Pinned. Gotcha.
Perfect.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm happy you're doing good, man. Good. Yeah.
Thanks, buddy.
Yep. That was awkward. Jacob,
There you go.
What's up, dude?
nice room.
Appreciate it. Yeah, I just got it all set up again today. And I'll be building some floating shells back there, putting a TV up on the wall so it has the Infinite Rabbit Hole logo while we're doing this. And then also I can just spin around and watch like documentaries for like research purposes and whatnot. But bro, last night was fun, bro. We had Skeeter and his wife Amanda over, and I definitely overserved myself. And the Doug's shot collar came out, and I watched those videos this morning, and I was like, wow.
Yep.
No wonder where my jaw hurts. Sticking this shot collar on my neck and zapping me and stuff like that. Whitney's like, oh, I'm going to count down. I was like, just do it. Just don't count down. It was fun. I smoked like, I think it was 6 racks of ribs. But yeah, having them over, it was great. So I don't know, hopefully we'll see something good podcast wise come from that. That remains to be determined as far as like what we're going to announce and everything. But
Oh, we can announce it.
oh well, we asked Skeeter because he is a tech guy. He he DJs weddings and things like that. And when we did the Elmwood UFO Days event, every presenter before us had a microphone that sounded like they were talking through a bucket of water, just wah 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 wah. And then the projector was a little bit small for the size of the screen they were trying to put it on, but it was still super blurry. And so before we got on there, Skeeter messed around with the audio and the video and got everything kind of dialed in as best as he could. So we were able to come in really crystal clear. And then the video or the slideshow we had up was pretty clear as well. And so Jeremy and I had him and his wife over for dinner, or they came over to our house, and asked him, "Hey man, you want to be our tech guy? You know, I don't know where that will go to. It might be, you know, when we eventually get an actual studio and we do something like that, or when we do presentations or whatever, you know, come along with us and help us to set up all the tech stuff. And because we don't know, you know, anything about it, but he does. So it was pretty cool. So they came over, we played Cards Against Humanity, and yeah, it was a good time. It was
Sweet.
a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. No, we need to start slowly growing the team. I mean, we've got some things on the horizon that are gonna require a bit more people, and Skeeter fits really well. I mean, he's local, you know, so he's not far away. And he did a hell of a good job at UFO Days. Saved our ass for sure, and that was incredibly appreciated. But yeah, so we're about to do this this first giveaway. Let's do this, because it doesn't always.
We gotta wait a little while, I think, right? Because more new people may join the chat. Right. Okay.
Well, we're gonna do a couple giveaways today.
Okay. And is that message pinned? Like, there's no limit on that timer, right? I just want to.
Yeah, no, I put it there for good. All right. So let's do this. We're going to read through the next section, and by the end of the next section, when I'm done reading it, so get this done as quick as you can, I want you to go and tell us in the chat what episode 8 is. If you can tell us what episode 8 is, your name will be added to the randomizer that Crystal's gonna do. And
like they get another raffle, like another ticket. Is that how we're doing that?
Well, because it doesn't show everybody's name. I want to make sure everyone gets it. So in order to be in the raffle, you got to be active in the chat. So
yeah, everybody who's said anything in the chat thus far is on the randomizer. So except for her and Jake.
Okay.
And me.
Well, that's fine. We could do that then. That works. If you're in the chat, say something by the end of the next section, and you will get added to the thing, and we'll pick right after that. Sound good?
So she's got I'll let you know how this is working so that you could think about this, right? Because I see you thinking it's a wheel, right? And she can add whatever name she wants to the wheel. So
yeah.
If you want to add trivia to it, if whoever's like the first person to get it in the chat, for instance, like we can give your name twice on the wheel, right? So you have like another raffle ticket.
Yeah.
So
well,
you might be on the wheel. Yeah, you could be on the wheel 4, 5, 6 times if you're the first person to get the answers right on the trivias, and then obviously your chances of winning are much higher.
All right, episode 8. If you want to get your name on the wheel for a second spot, sound good?
There you go.
All right, let's. We're gonna read off this next section, and by the time we're done reading it, Crystal, we'll before we do our thoughts and stuff, we'll jump right into the giveaway. All right, you guys ready? I didn't hear anything. I don't have you guys up right now.
Yeah, I'm muted. Sorry.
Oh, okay, good. Psilocybin and evolution. Psilocybin is a naturally occurring psychedelic compound found in over 200 species of fungi. When ingested, it produces a range of physical and psychological effects, including pupil dilation, increased heart rate, elevated blood pressure, vivid visual hallucinations, psychosis, and even panic. These experiences, collectively known as a trip, can vary greatly depending on the type of mushroom consumed, the user's environment, and their emotional state at the time. Factors that often determine whether the trip is positive or negative. Although psilocybin remains illegal in most of the United States, exceptions exist, such as its supervised use in Oregon and California. To many, the prohibition of such substances might seem self evident. Drugs are bad, okay? But what if compounds like psilocybin, DMT, LSD, ketamine, peyote, and ayahuasca hold the key to unlocking untapped potential within humanity? More intriguingly, what if psilocybin, a naturally occurring compound, played a pivotal role in shaping the very essence of modern human cognition? A common misconception is that psilocybin containing mushrooms, often called magic mushrooms, grow exclusively on the feces of grass fed cattle, while animal dung, particularly that of herbivores, provides an ideal growth medium. These fungi are not limited to that environment. Terence McKenna's seminal work, Food of the Gods, The Search for the Original Tree of Knowledge, highlights evidence suggesting that ancient humans consumed psilocybin laced mushrooms nearly a million years before the domestication of cattle in Africa. McKenna McKenna also draws attention to a puzzling discrepancy in evolutionary timelines. While physical adaptations in humans, such as changes in brain size, typically unfold over tens of millions of years, the human brain underwent a dramatic transformation in just 3 million years, with the most significant growth occurring within the last 10,000. This rapid evolution, which doubled brain size and introduced complex cognitive abilities like language, self reflection, and culture, defies conventional understanding of evolutionary processes. Why did such groundbreaking changes occur in such a brief period? McKenna proposed that psilocybin mushrooms might have been the catalyst. He theorized that early human ancestors, upon consuming these fungi, experienced profound hallucinations and altered perceptions, which introduced them to novel ideas, unexplainable entities, and abstract environments. These experiences, McKenna suggested, may have accelerated brain development by rewriting neural pathways and adapting the mind to process new, complex inputs. Just as modern tribes in the Amazon chew espia leaves for medicinal purposes, addressing issues like indigestion and inflammation, our ancient ancestors may have discovered the benefits of psilocybin mushrooms. Over time, these fungi may have become a staple in their diet and culture, sparking an unprecedented leap in cognition and paved the way for the emergence of modern humanity. All right, there it is. Oh man, there's a lot of people.
So that's why it's illegal. They don't want humans to get better than what they are. So
Facts, yeah. That's it. All right. We ready to do it?
Haven't decided.
Say what?
Technically, for those got it first, but Kenzar put the whole title.
Okay, so for those who died was the first one to put the correct answer. Kid was the first one to put the entire answer. So,
She put both of them.
do we put both names on the wheel?
I was just gonna go to whoever answered it.
Okay, so then for those who
Yeah.
died, gets a second name on the wheel.
Oh, I see. Yeah, she put part 2. Got it. Oh, yeah. I don't think it needs to be that technical. We'll go with for those who died. Kid's got an N
Ooh.
for it anyways. She's all right.
Ooh.
Whenever you're ready. Share the screen. And
Oh, you're gonna do it all? You're gonna do it now?
He's gonna do the first.
Yeah, put it up on the screen. That way we can
Oh,
start talking
okay.
about this.
Yeah, share it on the screen. You want me to do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, I got you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. We're just the
Yeah.
first time we're doing this, so
I'm sorry, everybody.
Shut up. There you go.
Wait, Skeeter says he's out of the drawing now that he's on the team.
Well, he's in it now. That's it. Just
Well,
5 people. That's it,
That's all that's been in the chat.
bro. We
You
got,
got
we had tons
if you
of people in
want a free shirt, you got to say something in the chat. Just say hi, say you guys suck, whatever it is. I don't care.
there.
Right?
Say we hate the show. We're watching it and laughing at you, not with you. I don't care what you say.
right.
Laughing at you, not with you.
Spin the wheel. Let's do this. Who's got a shirt? Skeeter.
There it
Skeeter.
is. Skeeter gets the first shirt.
Hell yeah. Skeeter said he didn't want one, but he's still getting it.
Yeah.
It's all right. It looks like everyone's going to win a shirt today, anyways, if there's only 5 people.
K-Shirt says, where's digital ass hat when you need him?
True. Fuck that guy. All right, cool. Skeeter, you know how to get in touch with me, man. Just
Woman
actually-
says this was rigged.
I know aside. Oh, she did say she was here. Look at that.
So here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna leave his name on the wheel. And if he wins another one, then he can shout out whoever else he wants in the chat, and they can have the shirt.
Oh yeah, that'll work.
We can't take his name off.
We can take his name off, but then the
Yeah.
wheel gets smaller. If nobody else
That's
wants
fine.
to chat in the thing, we get
Hell
down
yeah,
to one
take-
person on the wheel.
Take his name off. Take his name right out of there. Get it out of there.
If he wins again, I quit. All right, take his name off. You've been removed. And
Scooter,
you've
you
been
working
banned from the
tomorrow?
wheel.
You never grabbed
You're
your
no
bag
longer-
of ribs to take home.
Ostracized from the wheel.
All right. So, what do you guys think about the first section of Stone Ape Theory?
I don't like it.
No.
It's a good
No.
summary. It's a good
Demons?
Deets.
Demons.
Demon? No, not demons. If it happened before, then it can happen again. So either we're looking at a future event of Planet of the Apes, just like the movies, or it didn't happen at all. Animals
What do you mean?
know when to not eat stuff that's poisonous, right? They eat stuff that they can digest and all that stuff. The reason why we have such a trip when it comes to eating magic mushrooms is because they're poisonous to us, and the poison is acting on our bodies. Animals
how do
don't
you-
do that.
But how do you think they learn? I mean, I know it's like a generational thing where they're, like deer aren't going to go eat these poisonous berries, right? Because they know not to. It's in their genetics now to not eat this berry. But at some point, there were probably tons of deer that did eat that berry and dropped dead.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I
it
think it's
wouldn't
a
have
different.
continued.
It's a different type of poison, and then if you think about, like, first of all, we don't know what the potency was of those mushroom strains that were on those first fields in the recessed forests, right? When we came out of the trees and started entering the grasslands, and we're finding these psilocybin mushrooms, we don't know what strains those were because they're like ancient dead strains for all we know. So they might not have been super potent, and so our ancestors could have just been essentially microdosing, not enough to even really notice any of the negative effects, because there are negative effects from eating too much psilocybin for sure. But if you eat like small amounts, there's almost no negative effects that I've ever encountered personally. So it's like, I could see them just eating like whatever it is, small dosages, and then carrying on about the day with enhanced, like acuity, like visual acuity, like sensory enhanced shit. Making
So
them
what
think a
about
little more.
like nowadays? I mean, if one group of apes got their hands on some mushrooms and then started going forward into the evolutionary chain with consciousness, then that means that another group of apes should have done it as well.
Not necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Because then you got to think about the
Mhm.
receptors too. Like, why do we have the receptors in the brain to even like have the
For the
psychedelic
spiritual stuff.
experience? That's possible too, right? I could you could make this argument with me, and I might agree with you, but
Yeah.
Here, I got something I'm going to share with you guys real quick. So I went to the Google and I said, "Hey Google, what animals get high?" This is what the Google said. Google brought me to this website, Zamnesia.com, and it says elephants. Alcohol is considered a poison, right?
Yeah.
And yet they still get drunk and eat boca, whatever that is. I'm sure it's fucking gnarly. Bees get drunk. Wallabies eat opium.
yeah, dude.
So horses, loco weed,
What's
bears.
loco weed?
I don't know. Bears obviously eat psychedelic mushrooms and jet fuel.
Dude, that's insane. I never even thought about that, bro.
Like cocaine bear.
Like they're out there just like on mushrooms when they're attacking people. Like that's insane.
Let's see. Bighorn sheep, narcotic lichen, reindeer, fly agaric, whatever that is, cats, catnip or catmint, capuchin monkeys and lemurs, hallucinogenic millipedes, jaguars eat ayahuasca.
Oh my gosh.
Fuck, bro.
Oh my gosh. Can you imagine a jaguar and ayahuasca?
I mean, come on. I think there's your answer, man. Animals, poison or not.
Well, but then there's the thing, though. So if they are eating these hallucinogenics, then they should also be growing consciousness.
Maybe they are.
That's maybe they are. Maybe they haven't had it as long as we have. You know?
Yeah, maybe we were first.
I mean, it's a solid argument, right? Because
But why would we be first? We weren't according to evolution,
Why
we
not?
weren't the first on the planet.
no,
I
but we
mean,
may have been the
it's
first
chance.
ones to eat shit.
Nothing like a good old shit burrito, you know?
Right? Right? I mean, when it's good, it's good. Especially if
And
it's gonna
maybe
get you fucking high.
Maybe we weren't the first. I mean, maybe there were other like hominids that were doing it as well. We just throughout history have either like killed them off or they just didn't make it through for whatever reason, but
I-
our particular human species did.
I think it's a good argument. Why didn't anybody else get the same benefit that we did from eating it? Maybe they didn't
Right.
eat it as long as we did. I mean, from what Terrence McKenna was saying in his book, there's evidence that we ate a shit ton of it.
Well, they're finding new humanoid species. I don't know what the right terms are for this, but like, the Neanderthals, you got like Denisovans, like there's these
Mhm.
other humans that weren't quite humans, right? That have since died off because of time, right? Let's just say that. And we don't know if they were as conscious as we were. I mean, we have to assume they were because some of the skulls and shit that they found were like not necessarily as big as ours, but I don't know. Some of them were elongated and even bigger. So maybe some of them were even smarter and more developed in that sense than we are now because they started before us. I'm just saying that we, for whatever reason, made it through time to now. They didn't. Whatever happened. Younger Dryas might have killed them. Maybe we killed them. Maybe whatever the fuck killed them. I don't know. Maybe, the fire and meteorites that took out Gomorrah and whatever other, what were the cities that God destroyed in the Old Testament, Sodom and Gomorrah.
Yeah.
So it's like maybe that was them being wiped out too. I don't know. Who knows?
Hey, so all
A
right, so
sperm whale has the largest brain of any animal, weighing up to 20 pounds, which is much larger than the brains of other animals, including elephants, bottlenose dolphins, and humans.
yes,
Weighing 2.9 to 3.3 pounds. So no, And whales aren't out there, unlike what Kenzar believes,
on,
aren't
hold
out
on.
there coming up on the out of the ocean shooting
Hold
people.
on, because brain size is only part of the equation. The other part of the equation is how many neuron connections that the brain has. So human brains are very neuron dense. They have if you go down to a square inch, we have tenfold more than the next most intelligent creature, which I believe is dolphins, right? Dolphins or octopus. So yeah. Boofing some Starbucks. Who's that? We were just talking about boofing last night.
That's a buddy of mine.
That's
Just to follow me
funny.
on,
We were
dude.
having a
Current research, elephants are considered to have the most neurons in their brain, meaning they likely have the most neuron connections compared to other animals, with an African elephant brain containing significantly more neurons than a human brain. So
They-
no.
No, well, neurons.
no.
Neurons
No,
is literally the path of information, right? It's the
Yeah.
it's the handoff of the information, and just because
According to this,
Ellen's
elephant
Whales don't
should
have
have done that.
thumbs, dude. It's not just brain
all-
size; it's thumbs.
well, I
They
mean,
could have evolved thumbs.
there's
They
been a lot of
needed them.
talk about how elephants are very intelligent, right? They
And there's no
they have great memories, but they don't have the tools to be able to communicate, right?
There's no combustion under the water, so they were never able to like get anywhere.
What?
Yeah, they can't make fire underwater.
Yeah, they
Like-
can.
Okay,
Who, whales or
you're gonna
elephants?
tell me whales can make fire underwater? This
Absolutely,
is the thing. They don't
100%.
have brain.
You
It's
ever
the brain.
you ever thrown magnesium in water? Come on,
Yeah.
Jeff.
It's
Yeah,
the
don't be an-
neuron
don't be an
density
idiot,
and-
Jeff.
right now.
It's the neuron density and brain size. It's the fact they don't have thumbs, and it's the fact that they're under fucking water and there's no
Gosh,
combustion
I'm
of any
happy you're not a
kind and
fucking
all types of
scientist.
other
But that's the
things.
problem with evolution. Evolution says that you develop these things over time because you need them.
Yeah.
So if whales or elephants had way higher neurons levels than we did, then they should have been the ones with thumbs, and we would still be chimpanzees. Come on, man. Come on, bro.
I think there's
I
a
am
lot more to
blowing
play
a
in it than
hole
that.
in this
No,
theory,
No, you're not.
and the author of this book is
Yeah.
going to go crying home in shame. That's what's going on.
Well, the author's dead, but whatever.
Well, he would cry home in shame. Go crying home in shame.
have you
but
ever heard?
he's
Have you
dead,
ever
so
got
he-
a chance to listen to Terrence McKenna talk, man? The dude is
No.
brilliant.
He doesn't
he's
sound brilliant. If
very
he's
high,
making these
but
dumb
brilliant.
things.
Dude, Terrence McKenna and his brother Dennis McKenna lived a wild life back
Yeah,
in the
man.
day, man. And like the things that he talks about is just like so deep and like philosophical and just crazy shit, man.
Deep and philosophical, maybe, but that doesn't mean it's true.
Not necessarily, no. It's just theories, but it's it's there's some good arguments to be made. I don't necessarily think that the stoned ape theory is like the end all be all. Like we came out of the trees, we ate mushrooms, and here we are. No, I think there's a lot of other things that could happen, including including like intervention from spiritual beings, right? But
We get into
I
that.
think it's just a part of it. I think that the mushrooms is just an aspect of that
Maybe
adaptation, let's just
Maybe
say.
the reason why our brains are sophisticated enough to be able to, I don't know what's the right word, have an effect, I guess, from these drugs is because that's what heaven is like.
Hmm.
The Bible says, no eye can see nor ear has heard the things that are awaiting you in heaven. So if we can't, in our wildest imaginations, assume what heaven is like, then maybe that's why we have things in our brains, and going back to the spiritual thing, but we got things in our brains that when we have a complete body in heaven, we will be able to perceive these things, and that's why. And people get a glimpse of that when they're on psilocybin or they're on DMT or they're doing something like that. The
100%.
colors, the concepts, all these different things. So maybe that's why we have these brains set up the way they were, because say Adam and Eve had these brains that were able to perceive God and see God and experience God and all of what that means, you're right. But then they sinned, they got cast out of the Garden of Eden. I don't, what's to say that God didn't stop, change their brains, but they stopped being able to perceive that level of incredible stuff because they were no longer surrounded by it. And that's what is suppressed in our brains. It's not true when back in the day when science would be like, oh, you use only 10% of your brain. No, since we've got we
Sure.
can actually
Mhm.
scan the brain. We've seen that, all right, certain parts line up with certain things and stuff like that. They all light up, right? The brain controls a number of different things. It's not all working at the same time. But the fact that we can take these drugs and have these effects and see these sorts of things and hear and smell and taste and touch and all that sort of stuff, maybe that's because when we are full and complete in the afterlife, we will be experiencing that.
I mean, I don't disagree with that at all, man. I mean, I've said many times on the show, like a lot of my most like profound and what I would only classify as some sort of spiritual experiences always happen with psychedelics. So, I'm with that, right? And I've always said with them when I'm with my friends doing this stuff, it's like, man, this is like reality with the filter being removed, right? Like you're seeing reality for what it is, which includes like the realms of the spirit realms and things like
Right.
that. This is,
Yeah. The veil
you
gets
know,
lifted off, right?
exactly, right?
Yeah.
And this is why like a lot of tribes and cultures had like the idea of the spirit journey, and you would take the psychedelics and you'd have the
Sure.
spirit
Mhm.
Yeah.
journey and walk amongst the way. So, and so I'm with that. I just don't see why the two can't coexist is all I'm saying, right? Like, because I've heard arguments, right, of people who have said that there's things where a lot of the what's the word, Abrahamic religions are
Mhm.
really pointing towards mushroom worship because
Hmm.
mushrooms were so important in like causing people to breed and like having these deep philosophical thoughts and thinking about the future and just like being
Okay.
creative and imaginative, right? And over history, they've kind of just like developed into these like bigger, monotheistic uh ideas, I guess, right? So,
Hmm.
but I couldn't point you to who I've heard that from. I just know that I've seen like some pretty interesting like documentaries and videos and talks on this kind of thing before, and people bring it up sometimes. So, I, to me, it
Well, I mean,
could
I've seen
be
some interesting documentaries on climate change. It does make that
sure.
real.
Yeah, yeah, no, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying that both things could be true, right? Like I'm just leaving it open for both is what I'm trying
I
to do here
like,
because
gosh, what was the name?
only because I've had those experiences, bro. That's the only reason. Like, because I've literally like been in the void and infinity, surrounded by an internal energy that was comforting me into into the infinite, bro. I existed there for all time, right? It's the only way I could explain it is I was in what you would call heaven.
I like,
So
when
it
I
has
was
to be the same.
excuse me, when I was trying to find out who this Jesus guy was, right? I was like a militant atheist. I hated the idea of God, but my life sucked. And so I was just like, all right, well, let's try to figure this whole thing out. Why does my life suck? And so I started looking into all the world religions and all that sort of stuff. And eventually I got to Christianity, and there was one of the apologists that I used to watch. His name was Frank Turek, and he does a lot of uh like college campus Q&As and things like that, right? And he has a couple books out and everything, but he said, because someone said, why can't evolution exist just because Jesus exists? And he's like, honestly, evolution and Jesus can go hand in hand. Like, even if evolution is real, that doesn't take anything away from Christ. It just adds extra steps. And I was like, yeah, that's fair. Now, I don't believe that, right? I don't believe that we evolved, at least macro evolution versus micro evolution, right? Adaptation. But I mean, one thing that the Bible isn't, it's not a book on, um, gosh, what's the word? It always escapes me, but it's not. It's basically, it's not a book on animals. It's not a book on all of human history. It's not a book on, what happened in between the 7 days that God made everything. It's a book about people's journey to have a relationship with God, and then finding out they are completely and utterly not able to do that because they can't for the life of them do the right thing, and then God having to step in and save the day. Like, that's all it is. And it's, it's 44 books, it's 1500 years over that, and all that sort of stuff. But the Bible doesn't mention platypi, right? And they exist. It doesn't mention jellyfish, and they exist. It doesn't mention all these other things. It doesn't mention dwarf tribes in Papua New Guinea or in Australia or whatever it is. But from what the fossil record shows, those existed, right? So there is a lot of stuff to be open about, and for the most part, I am open to that, except when it comes to the idea that we weren't just made as we are. We were made as primates, and then we evolved from there. I think that the fact that science can give you 30 examples of what a T-Rex looked like, at least its bones, right? Through bits and pieces or full skeletons or whatever it was, but they'll pull out a skull that has almost nothing left of it, and they'll rebuild the entire thing using plaster and be like, this is what our ancient ancestors look like, right? And it's one example, and that's it. There isn't, if it takes us 1,000,000 years or 1,000,000,000 years to transition from one thing to another, we should have so many freaking skeletons. It would be unmistakable or undeniable that we evolved from these past primates or
See,
whatever.
we
I
do.
agree.
But we
I
do
actually
have 'em.
agree with that.
But we don't.
Yeah, we
We
do.
don't have thousands and thousands of skeletons of our ancestors. We have 2.
No, we have like 40 something different.
40.
I mean, you could see the clear changes.
No, I
Yeah,
see what he's
I
saying.
mean, there
one
there
and
are
another
a
one and
few.
another one as it goes back. It's not in this generation. We got 1,000 fossilizations of our previous ancestors, and in this generation we got another 1,000. In this generation we got another 1,000.
Yeah,
It
I
doesn't
see what he's
happen.
saying. There should be
The sa-
millions of
And the same
millions
thing.
of
They say that
But
dinosaurs evolved into chickens, but that can't be because chickens, lay an egg every day. It could be a fertilized egg every day. There'd be billions upon billions upon billions of fossilized examples of the transition and the change from scales to feathers.
But
From
that's
it's not just
not
one
that's not
thing to
true.
the next thing.
But that's not true. There's not billions and billions of fossils of modern humans, even
There
That's
from
what he's saying.
even from
That's the
thousands of years ago.
problem.
But no, what I'm saying is that in order for a fossil to exist, it has to have died in the correct circumstances,
And
like
there's plenty
in
of
the correct
circumstances.
in the correct environment. I mean,
Yeah, I think
there's
we have to remember, like, there is like huge earth cataclysms, right? Even just in the
Right.
last few hundred years, few thousand years, there's been like some severe shit that went down that wiped things completely away, right? So it's like, when you think about the Younger Dryas, I don't know if any of you guys ever looked at that beyond what I brought here, but like, dude, that event literally wiped whatever was on the northern hemisphere away, like gone. Even if there was pyramids that were 10 times the size of the ones in Giza, if there was, that type of structure would have been erased like nothing, based off of what some of the research is saying, right? This is how cataclysmic some of these events are. So
Right.
this
Sure.
could be why you wouldn't find any remains of,
Well, they should be
you know,
somewhere.
sure. Well, they'd be powder. They'd be reincorporated into the earth,
Maybe.
right? Like at that point, it would just be
you take one
nothing.
of those deer bodies that you killed this year, go bury it out in your woods, and then come back in 5 years, it's going to be completely gone. It wasn't buried in silt. That silt didn't get dehydrated and turn into limestone. It's
I'll tell
there's
you what, I'll do that. I actually have a whole bag of deer carcasses on the side yard, and we'll do that. When the show is here in the next 5 years, I will dig that thing up and be like, "Look, Jeremy, there's bones."
Yeah, but thousands of years might be.
Yeah.
I understand your argument though, Jake. Like I'm with you on that. Honestly, I do believe that the timeline is skewed of history, right? I don't believe that necessarily it took like 10 million years of us eating mushrooms to develop to the point of humans that we are, right? I think that that could have happened much quicker, and I do think that there was intervention, and we were created in this form, whether it have been from God literally or like some other demigod figures, right? One or the
Sure.
other, I think, created us for sure. I don't think that we were just like evolved from, microbials billions of years ago, as we're told. I think that's bullshit.
Like the human eye, like your eyeball literally can't exist and can't function without all of the parts working together.
Did
That's
you
why
guys see
blindness
what
is
the
such a
photon
problem.
looks like?
So
Do you,
yeah.
Yeah.
So there's no reason to think that the eye developed over evolution over time.
right.
It can't exist. It can't function the way it does without everything working together. You can't be lacking your pupil. You can't be lacking the veins. You can't be lacking the
But that's
neurotransmitters.
literally the same thing with everything in your body.
Right. So you can't evolve those things. Why
But
would
yet-
you
but
have
yet
an
it has
excess
happened
organ
over
that doesn't do anything?
But yet it has happened over millions of species in the history of this planet.
Give an example.
Every species on this
Give
planet.
one example.
A cat.
What one example from a cat?
It has eyes. It has better eyes than we do.
Okay. So why give an example of how that evolved to be that?
Because they needed to be able to see at night.
Why won't they be why would a cat not be able to see at night?
Because
What was
it's
it
dark
before
out.
it was a cat? And
Bro-
give accurate proof that this thing evolved into a cat.
Yeah.
Whatever the thing was it a marsupial? Was it some sort of like shrimp? And then if suddenly
No, it
evolved
was-
into
it
a
was-
cat, like what was it?
I mean, if you want to go all the way back, dude, you're talking about single cell organisms.
Right. And
No,
then
he's
give
right. He's
give
right.
an
The missing
example
link-
of it actually transitioning into that thing. If it took 1 billion years to get to the next thing, then there should be hundreds and hundreds of billions of examples of it while it was transitioning into that thing. So give an example.
But you're
I
also
gotta-
looking for a needle in a haystack.
Shouldn't we?
Just because we don't have it doesn't mean it doesn't exist.
If you said that there has to be a specific set of circumstances in order to create a fossil, which we can study, then after billions of generations of a thing that breeds every 10 seconds, then there should be one example of the thing transitioning from one thing to another thing, one species to another. If you can't give that, then evolution is false.
If I can't give it,
If
'Cause
no one can give it, if scientists can't give it, evolution is false.
I have to
Because
kind of back Jake here a little bit because I do think he has a point that there's too many things that are coincidences that have to have taken place for us to have just evolved in this position. And I'll just use the eye as an example, right? If you've seen recently, they know what the photon looks like, and it
Uh-huh.
literally looks exactly like an eye. And it's just interesting to me that the photon, the particle of light, the thing that our eye takes in for our brains to decode and think, looks like the thing that is observing it. It's like the whole quantum thing, right? Like it is the thing that we're observing, right?
like
And
how
this
the
has-
universe looks like an atom.
right, this has to be like a creation of some kind, right? Like
Well,
and
so
my
hold on.
only debate is like is this creation within another creation, right? Or is this the creation? So like that's the thing I think that people could debate, because if you're religious, of course you're going to think that this is the creation made by the creator. If you're not, and you think of like multiverses and you're more into like the science realm, you're going to think that this could potentially be a creation within creation, like or in layers beyond, right? So
Like
but
an
like
onion. And
I- see,
parfaits. Parfaits have layers.
see, man, you Okay. First of all, I'm not against creationism. I'm just not in the same boat as thinking that there is one entity that created everything,
Sure.
right? There could be a creator that's not a physical entity or a spiritual entity, right?
Mhm.
It could be something that we absolutely just don't understand. But even if there is
Sure.
a creator, to think that that people or whatever, something that's living doesn't adapt to the way that
Well,
they live
and that's
or
why
to their
we
environment. I mean, just look at the difference, the skin tones of people that
well,
lived
and
in
that's why
Africa on
we
the plains.
differentiate micro versus macro evolution.
So
Adaptation is something completely different
it's
than
not.
hardcore evolution where one species transitions to another. Black people and Asian people and Hispanic people
Uh-huh.
are not biologically different than white people, right? They have different melanistic characteristics, but they're not biologically different. If I have AB negative blood and
They
there's
are
a
absolutely biologically different.
no,
That's how you can look at someone's blood and tell where they're from, is because they
no,
have
they're not.
biological bookmarks in their
I can't,
biologics.
I
Yes, you
can't,
can.
I
20
can't take my
21 and Me
AB
will tell
negative
you that they
blood.
can.
I can't take my AB negative blood
Ancestry.com will
and
tell
give
you
it
that
to
they
my
can.
freaking dog and they survive. It would
Well,
die if I did
yeah,
a blood
you're
transfusion.
talking about two different species.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. They're not biologically different. I can take my AB negative blood and give it to a black person or a Mexican or a Asian person or someone from Hawaii that has AB negative blood and they will survive, right? I cannot give it to my dog. He will die, right? They're not biologically separate. The only thing that separates us is our facial features and our body features. Our DNA is the same and our melanistic
Uh,
traits. That's it.
I
So you can't,
I think
but
I think
going from
you're
one species to
This is
another
just a
species is
semantic
completely different.
misunderstanding, but yeah.
I
You guys
I
are- you-
I think that, I mean, Jake, I love you, man, but I think you're lacking knowledge on
I don't
taxonomical
think you understand
information.
what I'm saying.
I
I
he's
think
just
it's the other
using
way
the
around.
wrong. He's using the wrong terminology is the problem. That's what's bothering. He's triggering you because he's saying that they're not. He's using the word biologically instead of. No, I'm not
Speciously?
even sure. Species. Yeah, I guess that I don't even know the correct term either. But that's the word that's triggering you. I think you guys are just talking in circles around each other on this one because he's not wrong. He's just using the wrong terms. It's semantic misunderstanding.
The fact is that like rats or rabbits, you know, small rodents can reproduce like 100 generations in a year,
Mhm.
like crazy, right? So if you were to tell me some prehistoric rat ended up turning into another animal, say like the giant sloth, if they can produce 100 generations in a year and it takes 1,000,000 years to go from one species to another species, we're looking at 1,000,000,000,000 generations. And in those trillion generations, not one of them died in a specific way where all the fossils are on the same line. Like wherever you go in the world, they're all found in the same band of Earth. But you can't find me one example of a mouse or a rat going from one species to another species and the steps it took in between to do that. Because whatever one that was that won out, right? The genetic lottery of just like, now I have better hearing, or I have better eyesight, or now I have sharper teeth, or whatever it was, then that would carry on because they're genetically better than the last version. So they should be the ones outbreeding the rest of the rats, getting into the next species that they turn into. A mole, or getting into, you know, the giant sloth or whatever it was. You will see the growth progression. You'll see all these different things. If the settings have to be just right, after billions and trillions and millions of babies, there should be one that dies in the perfect circumstances to make a fossil, and science doesn't have it. They don't have it for anything. They don't have it for humans. They don't have it for chickens turning into dinosaurs. They don't, you know, or dinosaurs turning into chickens and anything like that. They have one example of a feathered dinosaur and it was a fake. And that's it. So there should be something in between. And you can't tell me that no, it's because, well, they have 40. Okay, great. 40 over time from this thing to this thing, and they have 40 examples over time. How many people would be produced if you didn't have birth control? All of them. Anytime we had sex, there'd be an offspring reproduce, unless there was sterilization or something like that. So there would be hundreds of examples in each category. Here's Homo erectus. There's hundreds of examples. Here's the Homo sapiens, hundreds of examples. Here's the pygmies in Australia, hundreds and hundreds of examples, right? There all the time. If you could get one fossil out of that area, then there would be hundreds of fossils out of that area. It just doesn't make sense that there isn't that link.
I
that
think you're
in-between,
thinking that
you know?
fossils are just so common and that it's easy just to be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to go look for this missing link right now and go out and find it. The thing is that it could take thousands of years to find one of the links. And
But
it's
it
just,
hasn't.
but it's a needle in a haystack, man.
But it hasn't.
We may not even have access to that depth anymore.
Jeremy, it hasn't though. It took the Smithsonian 40 years to find all the examples of humans turning from apes to humans.
Yeah, because it takes
It
time.
doesn't take that long. It doesn't take
Smithsonian's full of
thousands
shit,
of
dude. I
years.
don't believe anything comes out of Smithsonian, dude. If they, basically the Smithsonian
It took
says it,
40 years
I
for
believe
them
the opposite.
to decide. These are all the genetic, these are all the evolutionary steps in between apes to humans. And they found all of the fossils that they needed. It didn't take thousands of years, Jeremy. It took 40 years or 50 or
they
60
faked it.
years. And that's
They
it.
hoaxed it.
But
Yeah.
you're, man.
There's just no
That's-
evidence. No concrete evidence.
But even that list that you're talking about is incomplete. A lot of those are just filled in with conceptions. It's
Yeah, no.
not.
But they,
what I'm saying is like
label it as if it's a fact.
oh
This
well.
is where we came from, not this is where we think we came from.
So, all right, man. So one, all right. This is probably one of the hardest debates that I've had because I just don't know how to approach this with you.
Go for it.
No,
Just
like
blast me.
no, man, because I
My theories are strong.
no,
AF.
personally, man, I think that you're just not willing to take anything in right now, like at all.
Well,
which is
I would take
whatever.
something in if it made sense.
Dude, all right.
If it made sense, if it wasn't from a bias and it made sense, I would take it in.
So when are you gonna remove your bias?
I can.
Can you?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what you're saying to me and what you're saying to me from your brain, as far as what makes sense to you and the information we have as far as what the scientists say doesn't align. You can say all day long that dragons farted magical pixie dust out of their asses and science says dragons didn't exist. I'm not going to just suddenly believe you just because you say it, right?
No.
So
no,
I'm
like,
going based
dude,
off what science says, right? So science has, the archaeology, the paleontology has so much information to show us where we came from. And their information to me is proven faulty and wrong. And it doesn't line up because of the amount of breeding that takes place over 1 million years. If there's one fossil in a spot where it's the perfect conditions, as you said, then there should have been a tribe of people in that perfect condition. Human beings or people transitioning into humans or evolving to humans aren't just singularly out there in the middle of nowhere like a lion. They don't do that. We're tribal.
So one person falls down into quicksand, dies. The entire tribe then has to jump in there with him.
Why is there only one spot of quicksand in the entire earth?
It's not.
But that's the thing. There's only one spot of quicksand in the entire earth. There's only
where
one.
The fuck did you get that from? Where did you get that from? When I said that, where you keep taking these jumps into some of the most ridiculous bullshit, dude. And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? What the fuck,
You
dude?
said to me there has to be super specific instances in which bones get fossilized.
Yes.
Okay, so there's one spot of
So
quicksand in the
how the
entire
f-
Earth where
How the fuck did you come
over-
up with there's one
over-
spot of quicksand?
over a
and he had-
million years or a billion years,
You're
only
feeding
one
that
person
shit
ever
into my
falls
mouth,
into
bro.
it?
That I did not say that.
I'm asking you a question. I'm not telling you this. I'm asking.
The
you a
answer
question.
is no. There is way more than one spot of quicksand.
Okay.
shouldn't
so
have to
could,
say
Could
that.
have more people fallen into that?
Yeah, but maybe not the
Why don't we
same
have
one.
those examples?
We do.
No,
We have plenty of examples of dead people from thousands of years ago.
thousands.
We have them. We
Thousands.
found them.
Yes, millions
Yes,
of years though.
because we don't have access to the depths of where the other ones are, man.
They're all in the same fossil layer.
It's
Anyone who works in the oil industry will tell you that the fossil layer stops at a certain point, and that's
so.
and then below
you're
that is
saying
where they get to the
you're
oil.
saying the reserves of oil, right? Because that is where the fossil record is.
No, it's above that. About 12,000 feet above that.
Okay, so how big is the fossil record then?
It's like a
Fossil record goes all the way up to us.
in some cases.
In
But
some
it stops
cases,
at a point, which it shouldn't if the Earth is billions of years old. It shouldn't. There should be a much deeper fossil record.
so who's to say that there isn't a fossil record underneath oil, underneath petroleum? Who's to say that there isn't another fossil record down there?
I guess it'd be how far people dig.
I mean,
Well, they
what-
claim that is the fossil record.
Right.
Essentially, they
right.
say
What,
that
what,
the fuel,
what is
the
petroleum?
oil
Petroleum
is
is dead animals and dead
Right.
trees.
No, it's not. It's a-
I
it's
think
an
that's
element in the
bullshit
earth.
too, though. That's bullshit too, though. I'm not.
No,
gonna lie.
I mean, I get that, and
Yeah.
like, I mean, I've gone against science a 1,000 times on the show and said it's bullshit, right? But there's some times when it's like, man, you gotta look at things and be like, okay, some things just have to make sense. And I'm sorry, but for the most part, evolution on a grand scale makes sense to me.
Why?
Why? Because it makes sense.
Why? What's the evidence to make it make sense?
He trusts the experts.
No, I know. I don't. No. So
What for you makes it make sense? Why does it make sense?
so you're saying that we just plopped here in our form that we are in right now.
Yep.
So the fact that we share genetic similarities
We
to
share genetic
chimpanzees.
similarities to a banana, Jeremy.
Yeah. Yeah,
It
but
doesn't matter.
then you're talking about percentages.
When you're talking about genetic similarities, all you're saying is an arm goes here, a face goes there, a nose goes there. It doesn't matter.
So
Genetic similarities
it's-
in DNA
it's-
doesn't mean what you think.
You know,
it
it's
means. It doesn't
genetically
mean-
possible for a man to fuck a chimp and a baby to come out.
It is
It'll be
not.
sterile. It'll be sterile.
No, it is not.
Are you sure?
Yes, Google it.
Positive.
Take 10 seconds and Google that, and you'll find
So
out
what?
that's wrong.
So what about ligers?
Well, they're big cats.
What are you talking about?
They're large cats.
Is it possible?
Agree-
Wait, hold on. Is it
Here.
possible? Is it possible that the timeline is just wrong and that the Earth is not as old as we're told, right? So all of archaeology and shit is just a fabrication. It's a big money laundering scheme.
I mean,
okay?
I definitely think it happens faster
Alright, look,
than
ready?
they put it out. I definitely think it happens faster than what's said. That's for sure.
So, and is it also possible that something or something intervened in our quote unquote evolution to create us? Is that possible?
To
you?
create us,
Yeah.
I think to
Or to
I don't- I-
manipulate
I
something
don't-
else?
I
Do
do
you
not
there
think
was
that-
intervention.
intervention, yes, there definitely could have been. I do not think that we were made from a blank canvas. If that
What do you
makes
say
sense.
about just that, Jake?
What's
did-
that?
Do you think? I mean, I know your answer, but do you think that we were created from a blank canvas here,
Yep.
or do you think that we were created from something else here?
No, from a blank canvas.
You don't think it's possible that when God created Adam and Eve, he may have used a canvas of a previous primate and just created Adam and Eve from that?
What do you mean by canvas?
Well, like in the sense, well, here's the reason I asked, because there's the evidence that our DNA has been fused, right? The chromosome
Okay.
fused in our DNA. So what is that? Like something did that, right? Now, I would say that ancient peoples would have said that the same thing that did that, they called it God, right? So I would say God or whatever it was is the same thing that fused and created us, literally. And they may have used something else with similar DNA from the time and fused those two whatevers, and
I'll answer your
bam.
question here in a second. Human ape hybrids are genetically impossible because two species have different number of chromosomes. Wrong. Um, yes, I talked to Jeremy when we were talking about whales like a year or two ago, and we were talking about this exact same thing. Why do whales have bones in their flippers that look like hands, but with elongated bones? And I was like, when you build a new car, if you were to design a new car, would you start with a different type of wheel? And he was like, no. And I was like, exactly. You start with the same wheelbase. You start with the same engine base, maybe, unless you want to throw some flair in there, right? And the same chassis design, but you design the outside of the car different so that it matches your models of your, maker, whatever, Toyota, Ford, whatever it is, right? But it's same wheels. You're not making a new type of wheel. So could
but
God have utilized the same things he already had on the planet from the day before? Maybe that was a million years, who knows, or a billion years, right? The day before, whatever God considers a day, right? To create human beings in that sort of image, sure, why not? But did he utilize, say, like chimpanzees were already there because he had all the animals, he had all the sea life, all that sort of stuff, and been like, all right, now you guys are going to be humans? No.
okay, I'll take that answer. I'll accept that. I don't know about you, Jeremy, because there is this whole missing link thing. Like there is this, we still don't have a clear path from our evolution, right? And that's Jake's point before, right? There is no clear path that's been written down, peer reviewed, and said
All they
this is a
say
fact.
is that this animal turned into this animal, turned into this animal, turned into this animal, turned into chickens. This being turned into this being, turned into this being, turned into this being, turned into this being, and there's humans. There's no
true.
billion years in between
That's
But there-
true.
of the
but there is a-
transitional
there
period
is a genetic map that you can make. I mean, it's
from a bunch of liars.
I mean, yeah, they lie about a lot of things. I get that. I understand. But I mean, do you take vitamins every day?
No, because I can't
Okay.
afford them. They're too expensive. Just
I
for
mean,
men's is crazy expensive. It's like $40
Because of
a
the
bottle. I'm like,
liars.
forget.
I'm sure you use shampoo and body wash, right? Because the professionals will tell you that it cleans your hair and your body. You trust them on that.
I don't shower every day.
Fine.
I mean, I'm just saying, pick and choose your battles.
No.
I mean, I agree, man. There's a line where you have to draw, right? There's a I've gone on record tons of times saying that there's just shit that just doesn't make sense, and science is bullshit. But I'm sorry, man. The whole thing about genetics and evolution, I just it makes too much sense to me. And
I just want to show this. Oh, wait, that's not it. Hold on.
So let me get this straight. You would. I'm going to make an assumption here. You tell me
okay.
if
Please
I'm right or not.
assume yes.
You want Jesus to come into your living room to tell you that he exists for you to believe in him, but you're
No.
willing for a bunch of scientists to tell you a bunch of mumbo jumbo with no explanation and no evidence whatsoever, and you're totally on board with believing in them?
Nope. Not at all. I would totally believe in Jesus and the concept of Christianity and everything that it stands for under far less evidence than Jesus walking into my living room.
What evidence?
I mean, I don't know what that evidence looks like, but there's a lot of things in my life where I refuse to believe until I am given
humans are flawed.
I mean, yeah, we're absolutely flawed. Of course we are.
Well, but that's why, right? It's because people suck.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But
Yeah.
yet, I mean, you believe that you need meat in your diet, right? You don't believe in a vegetarian diet. because
I
there
don't
are a lot of
believe
people out.
that. I know that because of science.
Oh, because of science.
But science has been able to explain why I need meat in my diet, why I need vitamin B12 to keep my brain from shrinking. Science has not been able to
So
represent a
you
missing link between species ever. Not
so you
once.
so
Not a
you've
single freaking
you've
time.
seen the physical evidence of why you need these vitamins and protein. But
Yes, there's things called YouTube
okay.
where they actually have demonstrations of stuff, like when they pull blood samples from people that don't eat meat and pull blood samples from people that do eat meat, and what your brain looks like when you don't eat meat over large amounts of time. The problem is that that is something that can be seen now over days, right? It's not something that can be seen over millions and billions of years. But even that, they don't have an example of it, but they want you to believe it, and they feed it to you, and you just snatch it up. You're like, gravy, you know. It's just they're if there was a scientist that came out and said, "Hey man, I found the missing link," I'd be like, "All right, bet." But no one has done it. No scientists, no
And they're never
archaeologists, no
going to.
paleontologists.
They're never going to
They're
find
never
the
going
missing
to
link.
because it doesn't exist.
Okay.
Because animals die out.
You know, man, I don't have enough capacity in my night for this, so we're going to need to just move on.
All right.
What do you got there, Jeff?
Doesn't matter if we're gonna move on.
Doesn't matter.
That was
Alright.
just the NIH's website, basically breaking down the fusion in our DNA that happened after the quote unquote split from the chimpanzee, which has not been proven, to Jake's
Mhm.
point. I will back him up on that. That is not a fact. That is still
And it's
theorized.
never going to be proven.
Of course, and that's fair. I can take that argument too, but the fact is fact, right? So, but what is also a fact is that our DNA has been fused to create us, right? And that is
Hmm.
the thing that is like, what the fuck is that? So, if I, the only thing I'm trying to do here is bridge to a common ground here, right? I think we can all agree that something created us, something higher than us created us back in history. Now you could think of that scientifically or spiritually or however you want, but the facts remain the same. Our DNA was fused.
I agree.
Boom.
So somewhere, some way, we are not.
How you perceive it from your God or your science or whatever, it doesn't matter, right? We could debate for eternity, and that's what people
Skeeter
do.
says it's time to draw again.
We're not even on the second fucking
I know.
thing yet. So we're on page 2 of 9.
Holy shit! Well, we've
Well,
been at
geez,
this
get
for
to
an
reading.
hour and
Gee,
20
shit.
minutes.
Yeah. I didn't want to make this a 2-parter, but I guess it's going to have to be. All right. Humans. It's undeniable that humans share much in common with great apes that also call Earth home. We resemble them in physical appearance, movement, and even aspects of our thought process. However, the most striking difference between us and them lies in brain power and cognitive abilities. Given these similarities, it's safe to assume that humans and modern apes share a common ancestor, likely a member of the ape family. Fossil records provide a fairly clear picture of our evolutionary journey in terms of physical changes. Yet, what truly sets Homo sapiens apart from any other species is not just our physical evolution, but our consciousness, an enigmatic aspect of humanity that is far harder to trace and understand. Physical evolution is well documented in the fossil record, but the evolution of the human mind seems to have occurred at a much faster and more complex pace. One prevailing theory is that culture played a pivotal role in shaping the modern human mind. As early human cultures developed structure, the brain evolved to meet the demands of these emerging societies. Primitive language likely emerged as a tool for communication, eventually giving rise to storytelling, song, written word, art, and technology. Each cultural advancement spurred further cognitive growth, creating a compounding effect that drove the rapid expansion of human intelligence and self awareness. This compounding effect is evident in modern technology. In just a century, humanity advanced from the Ford Model T to flying drones on Mars, splicing genes, developing self-driving cars, and wirelessly communicating across the globe. In comparison, the previous century saw far slower progress, from horse-drawn buggies to the automobile. While this pattern seems to suggest that human minds grow exponentially, some argue that the real catalyst is our ability to record knowledge and build upon the achievements of others, giving the illusion of accelerated cognitive evolution. But what if the key to this rapid evolution wasn't just cultural or technological progress? Terence McKenna offered a compelling alternative in Food of the Gods. McKenna theorized that certain alkaloids in plants, particularly hallucinogenic compounds like psilocybin, dimethyltryptamine, or DMT, and harmaline, may have acted as chemical catalysts for the emergence of human self reflection. McKenna's hypothesis becomes particularly intriguing when examining fossil records. Over a span of just 10,000 years, early human brain size doubled, a phenomenon unparalleled in the animal kingdom. This unprecedented growth remains one of the greatest mysteries of human evolution. This rapid development coincides with a crucial moment in our evolutionary history, when our ancestors descended from the trees, began foraging on the ground, stood upright, and laid the foundation for modern human societies. During this time, our ancestors also encountered something else on the ground: feces. While it's a myth that all psilocybin mushrooms grow exclusively on the feces of grass fed cattle, it's true that animal dung, particularly from herbivores or omnivores, creates an ideal environment for these mushrooms to thrive. Herbivores that graze on grasses containing molds like ergot, which also possesses hallucinogenic properties, likely contributed to the proliferation of psilocybin laced fungi in these environments. Could these mushrooms have played a role in accelerating the evolution of the human mind? McKenna believes so, suggesting that the psychedelic experiences they induced may have triggered profound changes in perception, self awareness, and creativity, setting humanity on a unique evolutionary trajectory.
I wish there was a way to have. So I saw some news thing, oh, maybe a couple months ago, where they were talking about like we might be on the verge of being able to um like record dreams and actually play them on a screen so you could see them in real time. If there was a way to take animals that ate psilocybin or whatever to see what sort of trips they have, I'm sure it'd be crazy. Like it wouldn't just be like, oh yeah, I'm foraging in the woods and stuff like that. It'd be like I'm foraging and there's dragons and all this sort of stuff. Maybe. I
Bro,
don't
if
know
you
how
could
much
just
social
see what
influence and I don't know, pop culture or whatever it is adds to your trip as far as what you see while you're tripping.
um it depends on set and setting, to be honest with you, but it would be interesting enough just to be able to see what like a cat sees normally without them being on psilocybin, right?
Sure.
Because different animals are seeing in different light spectrums too, right?
Right,
So
yeah.
I always
Ultraviolet and
think
all that
about
stuff.
that,
Sure.
like with my cats. I'm like, are my cats able to see the Wi-Fi waves? Are they? Because you ever see your cat or whatever that they're staring at the fucking wall. You're like, what are you staring at, dude? It's like, well, maybe
Mm.
they're just staring at like the cell phone waves bouncing off the wall or something,
Gosh, wouldn't that be a trip?
right?
What do you think, Jeremy?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
You worried I'm going to debate you?
Huh?
You've
I
never
got
seen that
all
movie.
of my stuff out in the first half. We're good.
No, I'm not. I'm not worried about a debate with you.
He's never seen that movie.
What movie?
What's that?
The one we were just talking about, Jeremy.
I don't know what movie you're talking about.
We weren't even talking about
'Cause
it.
you weren't
You weren't
listening.
even paying attention.
Oh.
Got
right.
him.
Let's do this next bit and we'll do another giveaway.
All right.
Sound good?
Yep.
Science and thought. Throughout history, numerous trials have been conducted to study the effects of psychedelics on the human mind and body. One notable experiment mentioned in Terence McKenna's Food of the Gods was conducted by Roland Fisher in the late 1960s. Fisher administered small doses of psilocybin to a group of graduate students and observed their reactions to a visual test involving parallel lines that eventually skewed slightly. When compared to a control group, the psilocybin dose students were able to detect the deviation far more quickly. McKenna quotes Fisher's conclusion, quote, "What is conclusively proven here is that under certain circumstances, one is actually better informed concerning the real world if one has taken a drug than if one has not. This insight could explain why our ancient ape ancestors might have begun consuming psilocybin contained fungi regularly. If a small dose could sharpen perception and enhance awareness in modern humans, it's reasonable to imagine similar benefits for early hominids. For example, consuming psilocybin could have aided hunters and gatherers by heightening their ability to detect subtle changes in their environment, whether spotting potential prey, avoiding predators, or identifying edible plants that might otherwise go unnoticed." McKenna referred to this effect as quote unquote chemical binoculars, a well documented phenomenon of enhanced visual acuity induced by psychedelics. The advantages of psilocybin use likely extended beyond survival tasks. Groups of early humans who adopted this practice may have been more successful hunters and providers, gaining an evolutionary edge. These individuals would have been more attractive mates, passing down both their genes and their knowledge to subsequent generations. Over time, those who did not consume these mushrooms may have been outcompeted, leaving the mushroom ingesting lineage to thrive. McKenna also proposed that psilocybin's effects varied by dosage, each contributing uniquely to the human development. Low doses, as mentioned, small amounts of psilocybin enhanced awareness and perception, aiding in hunting, gathering, and tool usage. This increased efficiency would have directly benefited survival. Moderate doses. Medium doses of psilocybin are known to induce physical arousal, potentially increasing sex drive. This could have led to higher rates of reproduction, presenting new challenges for early human groups. The need to feed and care for larger numbers of offspring may have driven innovation, social organization, and problem solving, leading to compounding levels of intelligence. High doses or large amounts of psilocybin can trigger intense hallucinations, creating vivid, real feeling visions. These experiences could have laid the foundation of early belief systems, myths, and religious ideologies. Encountering quote unquote otherworldly entities or extreme scenarios in these hallucinatory states might have sparked a sense of spirituality or awe, shaping the beginnings of human storytelling, ritual, and community bonding. Across all three levels of psilocybin use, the influence on early human development would have been profound. Enhanced sensory perception, heightened reproduction, and the emergence of belief systems could have driven genetic diversity, cultural growth, and stronger social cohesion. In essence, McKenna's hypothesis paints a picture of our quote unquote mushroom munching ancestors as highly perspective, sexually prolific, and innovative early humans. These traits may have given them the edge needed to outcompete others, ultimately laying the groundwork for modern humanity. Their use of psilocybin may have catalyzed the evolution of intelligence, community, and belief systems, shaping the path that led to who we are today.
So I want to just kind of speak to those effects a little bit because when you do like microdosing, you definitely have like like a what I would call like a superhuman enhancement to your perception, right? Your visual acuity, you're able to see colors a lot clearer. You're able to just like the most minute movements, you catch them like you're a fucking predator. You know what I mean? Like I've witnessed this more times than I could tell you, where literally the smallest little thing catches your attention when you're on these microdoses, right? And then on those medium doses, yeah, you're trying to get some for sure, right? Like because what happens is like your entire body starts to feel enhanced, right? It goes from just your visual and like the on the lower doses, it's like visual and hearing acuity is like just enhanced, right? Your taste is enhanced. I used to always try to go for Sour Patch Kids. That was like the move, Sour Patch Kids and Slurpees from 7-Eleven. You re-up with those beforehand, and then boom, right? Your low dose trip is amazing. And then, yeah, next level is your touch. Your sense of touch is like super enhanced. So, of course, you're going to be more aroused, right? Like everything's just going to feel much better. And then, yeah, when you get to that next level, it's like that heroic dose, man. You definitely have those like spiritual or like super profound experiences, you know, and again, I've said that before. I can only imagine if if you were living 10,000 years ago in a small tribe somewhere and you had like a heroic dose of something, whatever, and you came in contact with what you could only perceive as some entities of some kind. Like you're going to give it a name, you're going to start either worshiping it or fearing it, and that's going to be a thing.
Did you ever trip on psilocybin and then go do your job
Yeah.
and do it well?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why'd you
Low
stop?
doses. Why'd I stop what? The job or the psilocybin?
Why'd you stop the psilocybin?
Because for me personally, I get the most out of it when I do like heroic doses. So for me, it's like a periodical type thing where I like to do it every so often, kind of like a pilgrimage, right? It's a cleansing of the soul is the way I look at it. I have these every
Sure.
year or two, a nice trip, and it makes me like reflect on myself super deep and like the things I'm doing in life. And usually I do change like some pretty serious aspects of my life when that happens.
So you have to take a high dose. Can you work on a high dose?
Depends on what your work is. Right now, no, because I go to
Can you
people's houses
track?
and no, fuck no.
Could you hunt on a high dose?
On a high, yeah, perhaps if you were already if you were a hunter gatherer, if you were not just a professional hunter, but if that's what you did day in and day out just to survive, like you hunted to eat, and you went out there on like a medium to a high dose, yeah, I think you'd probably do a hell of a good job. Because here's another
While you're
thing that
tripping
happens.
balls?
Yeah,
While you're
well, here's
seeing
something
things
that
that don't
happens.
exist?
Yes, listen. No, that doesn't happen. First of all, I want to clear the air on that. When you take psilocybin mushrooms, you don't necessarily see things that don't exist unless you're on such a high dose that you're almost out, right? Like, you're laying there dreaming, daydreaming,
Sure.
if you
Okay.
will. Okay. If you're on that dose, yeah, you're not hunting. But if you're on anything less than that, not only is your vision on point, your hearing's on point, but you also have like the amphetamine effect, right? Where you have energy to do things. So I'll give you an example, right? Like on 419, which is a holiday for a lot of people who like to take LSD, because was Albert Hoffman, is that the guy's name who invented LSD? Apparently he invents this shit on accident and he rides his bike home after he doses himself in the laboratory, right? So he's tripping on LSD,
That's
an
dope.
unknown dose. Yeah, an unknown dose. Nobody even knows, right? Could have been a lot, and he rides his bike home. So on 419, a lot of people like to ride their bikes on LSD. So I've done this, and every time that you do this, you keep going, because when you get off the bike, let's say you ride for 30 minutes to an hour, right? And you're like, man, my legs are sore, my ass hurts. You get off the bike and you stop and you're like, this doesn't feel right. Right. Like the motion that I was doing for the last 30 minutes to an hour, like I kind of need to keep doing that. Right. It's
Hmm.
called the loop. You get like this amphetamine type energy where like you will keep going for the duration of your trip. You're not going to sleep for the 8, 10, 12 hours that you're on any of these things. You will keep going. So yeah, if you're out there hunting, you're super aware, super alert, and your energy levels are spiked the whole time. So yeah, you're gonna get something.
Question I had, it was like, if I were to high dose and just sit in my chair and just play music, play some Tool or whatever it was, and
Oh yeah.
look at something crazy on the wall or whatever,
Great time.
be a totally different experience from somebody who was high dosing and then also having to deal with super predators that would drag you out of your hut and eat you while you're still alive type stuff. And so I was curious, because I've never done that. I don't plan to, because God knows I don't need another problem. I don't need another thing, right? But like, what is the I don't know, the level of awareness, the I don't know. I think I seem to mix these drugs up sometimes. Like, what causes monster hallucinations where if you're having a bad day and suddenly the spiders are coming for you versus just like everything is the same except it's way up here, right?
Sure.
So like you said, heightened hearing, heightened senses, heightened sight, whatever it
Sure.
was, target acquisition, things
mean,
like that.
I've seen stuff that wasn't there in the room with me, but usually that's again like, I close my eyes, right? Like you get into these modes, even on like medium doses of psilocybin, right? If you go in a dark room and maybe you just have music on or not, you're just silent in a dark room, you just lay there with your eyes closed, you're gonna fall into like a sleep state, like a dream state. You're gonna like see shit that's not there because you're dreaming, right? Like you're gonna
Sure.
see whatever dragons and fucking unicorns or whatever your imagination can conjure up in this state, eyes open as well, but you're not seeing it literally like in the room with you, if that makes sense. It's no different than you daydreaming, except you can really fall into that trance of that daydream and kind of really almost, let's say, astral project your way into that realm when you're tripping, right? But it's not there in the room with you so much as you're in that realm with it, if that makes sense, right? Now, what you do
Okay.
see a lot is, for instance, music. If you have like a good subwoofer in your house and you got some music going, I've seen colors vibrating across the white walls, right? Like wave
Mm.
patterns of different colors based off the notes. And as the notes go lower, right, you would see a more like red shift to the wave pattern. And as the notes were higher, and with the melodies, the bass, like the whole thing, I've seen that ripple across the walls, which is actually happening. So it's not like you're seeing something that's not there. Again, this is just the veil being lifted, the filter being removed, and you're seeing reality
Right.
more.
The more enhanced version of us, essentially.
Right. And then, when you have the enhanced acuity with your vision and these types of things, this is going back to what Jeremy was talking about in the presentation, right? You're going to you hyper focus and fixate on little things as well when you get stuck in the loop, right? When you have that endless
Sure.
thing. So let's say you're sitting there weaving a basket, right, for your tribe, right? And you're on these psilocybin mushrooms. Like you're gonna weave the best fucking basket, dude. And not only that, you're probably gonna weave like 10 of them, right? One for everybody. And then you know what I mean? Like, and then you're gonna and then tomorrow you're gonna weave fucking rugs for everybody's hut, man. And like I think this is part of how like the women of these tribes were able to like get so much shit done while the men were out also getting so much shit done at the same time, was because they were just consuming these mushrooms like as part of their diet, right? It wasn't, I don't think for most of them it was like super known or like special. It was just like, we eat these and also we're good at shit. We get shit done around here, right? I don't think that they really connected the two. I think the shamans of the societies knew the secret, and they, when they mixed their brews and shit, like they knew exactly what they were doing, and that's how they
Sure.
were able to kind of like, do their thing. But
Well, they were the
I think
ones that were doing it all the time.
the regular schmucks were just putting mushrooms in the salads, bro, and like they were,
So how would they then go from trips to consciousness, the awareness of I'm me and I'm here?
because of the self-reflection part, right? Now I don't know how this would happen to like a pre-human human, but for a human, what happens is you do really reflect on yourself a lot. There's a lot of like this is why they say don't look at yourself in the mirror when you're tripping, bro, because like you'll get sucked in, right? You start to analyze yourself like super deep because you can actually see
Sure.
yourself now, not just think about yourself, right? And this is why people who go down to Mexico and take like Ibogaine, like
Yeah.
they quit these addictions, even if they weren't there to quit the addictions to begin with, right? Like they still come back and they're like, I don't even want to drink alcohol
Yeah,
anymore.
like
because
Sean Ryan, like 2 years sober and all that stuff. Yeah,
right.
sure.
And he didn't even go down there for that, right?
Yeah.
He didn't even think he had a problem, right? But something happens when you're in that realm where you just really think about everything. You think about the shit you said to that kid in 3rd grade, and then you think about like how you're fucking up your life because you're drinking every day or smoking pot every day or whatever the thing is, and you just start to change whatever happens. I don't know. It's just you wake up from a dream and you're like, oh shit, I need to change that.
All right,
So
let's
I
do
think
this
that
giveaway.
I think that could lead into like consciousness, if you will, right? Yeah. Are we doing a thing? Yeah. Let me
Yeah,
share
let's
the wheel.
do the thing.
Forgot that I have to do this. Share this. Wheel of names. Wheel of names.
Ready?
Oh shit, who's getting a free shirt?
Oh my gosh, you gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh.
Oh, Wowens. Oh, nice.
Well, so far, I don't have to pay for shipping. All right, you guys ready to move on?
Yep.
Congrats, Wowens. All right. Hallucinogens. In Food of the Gods, Terence McKenna proposes that the true missing link in human evolution may not be a physical skeleton of an intermediate species, but rather a compound with hallucinogenic properties. He suggests that specific psychoactive substances, particularly the indole hallucinogens, played a pivotal role in shaping human self-reflection and consciousness. McKenna writes, quote, "The notion that we are exploring in this book is that a particular family of active compounds, the indole hallucinogens, placed a decisive role in the emergence of our essential humanness." McKenna outlines 4 families of hallucinogens that could have driven these transformative advancements. LSD type compounds. Though rare in nature, LSD type compounds, most notably lysogeric acid diethylamide, have demonstrated profound effects on cognition. Beyond recreational and experimental use, these compounds can enhance thought speed, improve the ability to process complex behaviors, and facilitate understanding of intricate decision making networks. LSD also holds therapeutic value, particularly in psychotherapy and treatment of alcoholism. However, due to the scarcity of natural sources containing LSD type compounds, McKenna ultimately rules them out as contributors to early human evolution. 2. Tryptamine hallucinogens. This group includes psilocin, psilocybin, and DMT. Psilocin and psilocybin are primarily found in fungi, while DMT is naturally produced in the human brain and believed to be released during death. DMT is renowned for inducing profound and visually spectacular hallucinations, often described as intense spiritual experiences. Of these, psilocybin and psilocin are of particular interest as they occur naturally in mushrooms, making them readily available to early humans in the African grasslands. 3. Beta carbolines. Harmine and harmaline, 2 key beta carbolines, are the primary psychoactive compounds in the South American ceremonial drink ayahuasca. This brew is traditionally used for spiritual healing, divination, and extended visionary experiences. Beta carbolines also act as MAO inhibitors, enhancing the effects of DMT and enabling a longer, deeper experience. However, these compounds are native to South America and were not available in the African grasslands during the period of early human evolution, making them an unlikely candidate. Ibogaine, derived from the tabernathi or taber tabernamatana tree, In Africa and South America, ibogaine is both a potent aphrodisiac and a hallucinogen in higher doses. While its African origins might suggest its relevance, McKenna eliminates it as a potential catalyst for human evolution due to its association with trees rather than the grasslands where early proto-humans lived. Additionally, there is no evidence that it was widely used before the 19th century. In chapter 3 of Food of the Gods, McKenna attempts to identify the specific hallucinogen responsible for humanity's cognitive leap by a process of elimination. He sets forth the following criteria. 1. The compound must originate in Africa. 2. It must be native to the grasslands where early humans were located. 3. It must require no preparation and be consumed in its raw form. 4. It must have been readily available. 5. The benefits must be immediate and tangible, making them recognizable even to a primitive ape. Using these parameters, McKenna systematically ruled out each family of hallucinogens until only one remains. Ibogaine disqualified for its tree-based origins, making it unlikely to have been accessible to proto-humans living in grasslands. Additionally, its use was not documented until much later. LSD-type compounds, excluded due to the absence of any plants in Africa known to contain LSD-like substances, and beta-carbolines ruled out because they are exclusive to South America, far removed from early human habitats in Africa. This leaves the tryptamine hallucinogens, specifically psilocybin and psilocin, as the most plausible candidates. McKenna focuses on psilocybin containing mushrooms, which thrive in feces rich environments, a common feature of the African grasslands during the period of early human evolution. Among these, psilocybe cubensis, also known as Stropharia cubensis, or magic mushrooms, stands out as the primary species containing psilocybin. Psilocybin's effects, enhanced visual acuity, heightened awareness, and the promotion of social cohesion, would have offered immediate survival advantages. For early humans, these benefits could have translated into better hunting, improved foraging, and stronger group bonds, ultimately accelerating cognitive development. By meeting all the outline criteria, psilocybin containing mushrooms emerge as McKenna's leading candidate for the hallucinogenic catalyst that spurred the rapid evolution of human consciousness. This quote unquote missing link may not be a fossil, but a fungus, one that profoundly shaped the course of human history. Done. Well, not done, but done with that.
Done.
Yep.
Mm,
I'm with it.
Yep.
I love Terrence. Terrence is my spirit animal, dude. I love Terrence McKenna.
If you love him so much, maybe you should marry him.
I would if he wasn't dead.
Well, make him undead and then marry him.
Yeah,
Maybe I will.
just make him undead.
Yeah, easy. Using psilocybin, though. You have to do that.
Yeah, that's the way he would want to come back.
Yes. And the Frankenstein technique of shocking him with with a lightning bolt.
Well, we're almost 2 hours in, so I'm just going to jump into the next bit. We still have this one, and we have 2 shorter ones, and then
All
we're
right,
done.
go for it.
Medical. What is it about magic mushrooms, specifically their active compound psilocybin, that makes them such a compelling candidate as a catalyst for the rapid advancement of human consciousness and intelligence? Research offers intriguing clues. According to Psychology Today, Dr. Charles Grob from the University of California, Los Angeles, and colleagues conducted a study in the early 1990s exploring the effects of regular ayahuasca use in Brazil. They found that individuals who consumed ayahuasca regularly scored significantly higher on neuropsychological tests compared to non users. Additionally, Dr. Rafael dos Santos, also from Brazil, discovered that ayahuasca increases the thickness of the anterior cingulate cortex, a critical brain region associated with cognition and emotion. As noted in Psychiatry Online, this part of the brain is essential for solving problems and navigating the social world. A thicker anterior cingulate cortex enhances emotional regulation, autonomicon integration, and pain perception. If psilocybin mushrooms became a cultural staple among our early ape ancestors, regular consumption over generations could have triggered a similar enlargement of the anterior cingulate cortex, potentially accelerating cognitive and emotional development. The practice of consuming hallucinogens is well documented in many indigenous cultures worldwide, suggesting that such traditions may have ancient roots. Modern research also highlights the therapeutic benefits of psychedelics, which may shed light on their evolutionary advantages. As Psychology Today explains, controlled psychedelic use fosters mindfulness and quote unquote decentering, the ability to observe thoughts and emotions without over identifying with them. This heightened self awareness enables more nuanced social interactions and enhances cultural learning. Many therapeutic approaches today, such as cognitive behavioral therapy or CBT and dialectical dialectal behavioral therapy or DBT, incorporate mindfulness and decentering principles to improve mental health outcomes. Under supervised conditions, psychedelics have been shown to enhance cognitive functions such as processing speed, memory, creativity, and problem solving. These properties have led to the development of a class of medicines called psychoplastogens, which rapidly induce neuroplasticity after a single dose. According to Psychology Today, psychoplastogens trigger several critical changes in brain function, including neurogenesis, or the growth of new neurons, synaptogenesis, the formation of new connections between these neurons, remyelination, the repair of myelin, the insulating layer around neurons, and activation of silent synapses, turning previously inactive synapses into functional ones. Psilocybin, in particular, mimics serotonin in the brain, acting as a neurotransmitter that directly stimulates neurogenesis. This process not only promotes the formation of new neural pathways, but also helps alleviate extreme fear and PTSD, fostering courage and empathy, qualities vital for leadership and social cohesion. Now, imagine these effects in the context of our early ancestors. Could the consumption of these psilocybin mushrooms have enhanced their cognitive abilities, emotional regulation, and social bonds? Did these magic mushrooms play a role in developing traits like leadership, cooperation, and innovation? When we reflect on the behavior of our feces loving ape ancestors and the transformative potential of psilocybin, we're left to wonder, is this how it all began?
So
Uh oh. What happened to Jake?
I think he got nuked.
Uh oh.
Well, no, 'cause if you would have got nuked, you would have been out too. So he didn't get nuked.
Jake, no.
Might have been a smaller Tomahawk cruise missile.
May
You might have heard that though. You're close enough.
nah.
So maybe it was more like a bunker buster, no explosive, just high velocity impact round. Oh, no,
There he
oh,
is.
there's
yeah,
got to be a
false
different way,
alarm.
man. I touch the cable on the back of my mic and it kicks me out. Like, there's got to be a better way than this.
I don't know.
XLR
All right. So
cable.
the problem that I have is from what we can see in primates these days is that there is a leader, right? And any amount of rising up or trying to become a better leader than the leader that's already installed, leads to horrible interactions of dominance and fighting and all that sort of stuff. So not everyone could have been on psilocybin if it creates this leadership role in a person, right? They would have had to have been beta males and alpha males, or else they would have been kicked out of the tribes and gone to screw off somewhere else, which I guess could be possible, but still.
Yeah.
It's the same way like in your work center. If you're the supervisor, right, you're the alpha male and you have another alpha male underneath you, it causes conflict. Unless they just assume the role of I am not the alpha because I am working below this individual, there's going to be conflict the entire time until someone gets fired, right? And kicked out of the tribe, essentially. It would be the same way. Not everyone could be taking psilocybin and getting this, I'm the leader sort of personality on them, whether it was male or female, and have a functioning
Well, that doesn't
tribe
happen.
that works together, right?
That doesn't happen. The ego goes away when you're hallucinating. So the alpha aspect, it goes away.
Well, that's what they're
Now,
saying. That's what it spawns. They're saying psilocybin spawns a leadership type quality. So that means that
perhaps
either they're wrong or you're wrong.
no,
know?
perhaps, but I don't think necessarily in the like alpha versus alpha sense, like societal control, like I don't think in that sense necessarily, because at least for me, in my experience, like the ego pretty much goes away. It becomes more. If I had to describe leadership somehow in that state, it'd be more so like you're more charismatic and open to communicating and like I don't know, maybe more convincing, I guess. You might be able to tap into some deeper layer of personability.
Would it be different from someone like you who's already conscious and self-aware versus an animal who isn't?
Could be, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I said that before, right? I don't know how pre-human humans or whatever, however you want to phrase that, would have reacted to this, but I just don't necessarily ever experience any type of ego trip or like, alpha threat, and I've done these types of things with other dudes. So,
Other dudes, you say?
yeah, not
Like in a hot room where you all are stripped down and you're just like,
no,
let's take some mushrooms.
nope, not in those type of situations,
Sauna.
The best situation I can tell, it's set and setting is everything, right? If you sit in your room, because your room is the most comfortable place, right? And even in your house, I would imagine, right?
Is
Your
it
room or whatever is your most comfortable room in your house. And you
the
put on
sunroom?
Genesis Live on YouTube. Genesis Live 1973, I think. 1972, 1973, Genesis Live with Peter Gabriel. And you watch that on repeat on psilocybin, you will have the greatest night of your life. You're welcome.
Why?
Because it's just an amazing live set and you just get so hyper focused and like you understand what they were writing and what they were performing. And of all of the music and entertainment and laser shows and all the random shit that I've watched, that was like the one. That was the one. It hit different.
Nah, dude. Tool Ladder Alice.
That's a good one too.
It sounds
I've
good
done
when
that
you're not
too.
tripping balls.
I've done that too. That's a good one too. But that's deep, man. And there's like some dark undertones to that, and like it's kind of
Oh, of
weird.
course.
Genesis Live though.
You get into his stuff, Perfect Circle, and he's talking about he just hates God, and it comes out in that song Judith. I mean, it's apparent, right? So yeah, I know there's deep, dark undertones and stuff. That'd be
Genesis
actually
Live
pretty
is just
fun if we
epic.
all just kind of tripped on psilocybin and did episode listening to music the whole time, just tripping our balls off.
Isn't that what we're doing right now? Was I the only one?
No, you're the only one.
Shit.
Mm-hmm.
I wonder.
I
I'm
got
having
some
such a good
alcohol
time.
and some nicotine. That's it.
Oh,
Are you guys ready?
Yep.
I'm just gonna knock out these last two. Just get it
Alright,
over with.
cool. Bet.
and then we'll do the last giveaway. In this history, in the southern Sahara Desert with Algeria's Tassili Najir Plateau lies a treasure trove of ancient artwork etched into the sheer rock walls. These Neolithic era paintings, dating back to between 10,000 BC and 2000 BC, provide some of the earliest visual evidence of humanity's interaction with hallucinogenic substances. The artwork vividly portrays figures believed to be shamans engaged in ritualistic dances holding clusters of mushrooms. Mushrooms are prominently featured in these scenes, not only as objects in their hands, but also depicted in the surrounding environment and even appearing to emerge from the bodies of the figures. Adding to the mystique are the geometric patterns and abstract shapes interwoven with the imagery, suggesting that the artist may have been depicting the visual distortions and hallucinogens brought on by psilocybin use. These depictions beg the question: how far back does the human relationship with psilocybin mushrooms truly extend? And when did these enigmatic fungi first begin influencing the minds of proto-humans? Science. Paul Stamets, a renowned mycologist, sheds light on the ancient history of fungi, through fascinating fossil discoveries. In a southern African lava bed, scientists found evidence of mycelium-filled mushrooms fused with hardened lava dating back an astounding 2.4 billion years. On the Joe Rogan Experience podcast, Stamets highlighted that the earliest known multicellular organism in the fossil record is a fully intact fossilized fungus from 1.4 billion years ago. Stamets also explained that animals and fungi share a common ancestor and diverged around 650 million years ago. This means fungi, in their current physical form, have existed 1.75 billion years longer than animals have been distinct from them. These insights align with findings reported in a Discover magazine article, November 2004, where microbiologist Mitchell Sogan explored the evolutionary ties between animals and fungi. When asked whether humans could be seen as a highly evolved mushroom, Sogan remarked, "I'd say we share a common, unique evolutionary history with fungi. There was a single ancestral group of organisms, and some split off to become fungi, and some split off to become animals. This raises intriguing questions. Are humans, in a way, an evolved form of fungi? And if fungi are so ancient, could they possess intelligence or even a form of consciousness? Hints of fungal intelligence can be observed in experiments like one conducted in Japan in 2010. Scientists arrange oats to represent the location of major cities around Tokyo, with the city of Tokyo itself symbolized by a piece of oat covered in the slime mold Ferrocym polycephalum, a type of filamentous multicellular fungus. Once the slime mold was placed on the oat representing Tokyo, it began to grow, connecting to the surrounding oats over 28 hours. Astonishingly, the slime mold constructed pathways that were more efficient than the actual Tokyo railway system in terms of cost, travel time, and resilience to disruptions. Even without a brain or nervous system, the slime mold demonstrated cellular intelligence that outperformed human engineered transportation networks. These findings hint at the remarkable problem solving abilities of fungi and their potential for intelligence, even in the absence of a traditional brain. Could fungi hold secrets to understanding the roots of consciousness or intelligence in life? And that's it.
Yeah, I think that's super interesting.
Have
I also
you,
think it's interesting.
what'd you say?
I said I also think it's interesting.
I'm going to try to bring this up because I went down a deep rabbit hole with this.
Yeah, I'll just nutshell that for anybody who might have just like kind of didn't grasp all of what he was just saying. Essentially, they in Tokyo they took fungus and they allowed it to was it the subway system?
Yeah. So here, I'm going to share this real quick.
They like
Um,
replicated the fungi created like a better version of the subway system, like mapped out like the way that it was or whatever. How the shit is intelligence, man.
here you go.
There's some
So,
key here that is
so
like bridging.
this
That's
is
what I
probably
think.
this is probably the best one, right? So what they did was they put oats on each one of these little towns or cities that the subway system went to,
Right.
right? So one of them was Tokyo, which I believe was like right in this area. And this is the Tokyo network, the railway network that they used. And then when the mold moved to get the oat from the Tokyo spot, which is seen right here. You can see this guy right here. This is kind of it moving out. It created a better system for the railway system than what human engineers were able to do.
That's
More
not
more
surprising
efficient, a
though,
more efficient
because
pathway.
the mold, as it grows and expands, it doesn't need to go from place to place to place because it's translating within its own mold body or whatever, right? It's
Yeah.
Medium, yeah.
But it's
One
like
classic example.
Sorry.
it's like a tree root system. The tree roots don't have to branch from one stem to another stem across because it's all feeding into the tree, right? The center mold is the same way. So where humans have to go from one stop to one stop to one stop to one stop and make a big U-turn or whatever, right? That makes sense, but for mold, I mean, it's contained within the same body. So if it
Mhm.
branches out over here, it doesn't then have to create pathways over here. It just the
Yeah.
food and the nourishment translates back into the main body of it, right? So yeah, I mean, it makes sense in a way that it's like, you know, how did this mold or this fungi know how to be so self-sufficient and so, you know, get into the spot without wasting any extra energy? But that's kind of what they do. I mean,
You know what
you
else
know,
is interesting? And I don't know if this is in your last little piece here or not, Jeremy, but
Oh, I'm done.
oh, okay. But basically, there's also been studies that were done where they can show that the mycelium network that essentially covers the entire planet for the most part,
Yeah.
that it communicates with itself over distances.
Mhm.
So like
Mm.
they've been able to like, and I don't remember the exact methods that they used for these studies, but essentially they were able to like track signals that were happening X distance away through the mycelium network over here.
Yep.
So you know the information that you cut down a tree in California, here in Florida, like the trees know about it, right? Like
Mhm.
the mycelium, all of the plants and everything grow through this mycelium network, not just the fungi, right? But the mycelium network is the fungi, so it is the earth essentially, if you want to think about it that way. Everything that
Hmm.
grows and lives on the earth grows through and
So you
from
could say that Mother Earth knows.
Mother Earth. Yeah, that's some real shit, right? Like that's some tree hugger hippie shit, but there's some truth to it, right?
Could
There
you
is.
could you imagine if these UFOs were just fungi?
They could be, right? Like
How
some people are saying
crazy
they're
would that be?
biological craft. They're like
Yeah.
some weird biological craft. I mean, that's a kind of crazy, but who knows? Who
I don't
knows?
know.
Anything's
I'm
possible.
going with
It's
it.
20. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, who
wear
knows?
Science
a
doesn't know
tinfoil hat.
anything. It's fungus.
But it is super interesting that the mycelium network is intelligent enough, right? At least it seems to have information travel through it. So it's like,
Well, I mean, that makes sense in the same way that a tree is so big, but if you puncture the roots or puncture the trunk or whatever it was, it will provide sap to provide a barrier and seal that spot up. It's not too outlandish that if an organism like fungi or whatever was so big with like a root that it would be able to translate a penetration of its system, right?
Yeah.
It isn't really that crazy to think of. But if
no,
it's
but
like on a worldwide scale, I mean, that certainly is interesting.
it's also interesting to me just to think like and I don't know if this is true, this is just my brain running, right? Is like,
Sure.
if the whole world is mycelium and it's all connected and we grow from this as well, right? Like
Yeah.
we're part of this network as well. And then
Right.
you
We
think
grow our
about what
food
we were
from it and
talking.
all that stuff. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, and then you talk about what we were saying earlier about like the photon being looking like the thing that observes it, right? Like it's all connected on some weird created simulated weird way. It's almost the same thing with the mycelium, right? It's like, we are the mycelium, but we also are the thing that experiences what the psilocybin does. Like we have the brain to experience the psilocybin, we have the eye to experience the photon. Like it's all a creation in some weird way. Like maybe it's a
It's all
simulated.
connected. Yeah.
It's
Is it a
all
coincidence
connected.
that a dick looks like a mushroom?
Well, no, because the foul, and that goes back. Listen, that's important because that goes back to what I was saying earlier when I was telling Jake that there are a lot of people who have broken down like and theorized, I'll say that, that um
Everything
Abrahamic
micro is also macro.
everything, all the Abrahamic religions
Yeah.
are related to mushroom worship because there's so many like phallic symbols and like all this type of stuff. And it's like there's something to the mushroom looking like, having a phallic symbol as well. Like this is part of the whole connected thing. It's
I
all
think
something.
I think it goes way deeper than that. I think that everything micro is also macro.
That
In the
too.
same way we see atoms that look like galaxies. We see the human eyeball and it looks like a star system, right? It's just like everything micro is also macro because it's all the same. It's like you were saying earlier when you asked me if I thought that we could have been made from like a species that already existed, right? Or whatever it was. And I gave you the example of the whale hands essentially, right? Where they're in the flippers, but the bones look like human hands. I think that it's for the most part the same design, just in a bigger or smaller scale.
Well, yeah. Do you remember like everybody was freaking out when we got like the pictures of the universe, if you want to call them pictures? And they were like, "Oh, it looks like the neuron pathways of the brain," right? Like they were like, "Do you
Yeah,
guys remember?"
yeah,
Well, also, I just want to point out that the mycelium network looks exactly the same. So
does it?
that is the fractal thing that you're talking about, right? Like the universe looks like
Yeah,
the mycelium network looks like the neural pathways, and you require all three to experience all three. Like it's a weird fucking phenomena, right? That, and to me, in my opinion, that is what's coded in like the Bible as the Father, the Son, the Holy Ghost, the Holy Trinity. To me, is something like that. I'm not saying that is the thing, but it is a similar connection, right? Like where you have this fractal thing where it requires all three of the things to experience all three of the things, right? Like
hmm,
that's what I get out of
okay.
that personally.
Would you say that? How are you phrasing it? The mycelium is
Yeah,
that it? The mycelium layer is that
mycelium.
a dirt thing, or is that a like growing up the side of the trees type thing? So like if a tree
It's
got harvested, like it got like I got some trees in my yard that I need to get down because otherwise they're gonna die. They're already dead at the top, but they're gonna fall in the house and kill both of us. So if I harvest that, or I cut it down right with the chainsaw or whatever,
sure.
does that disturb the mycelium layer, or is it like if I remove the stump and got down into the earth?
Yeah, you have to go down a little bit. I mean, from what I understand,
Okay,
generally speaking, the mycelium layer is like down in the dirt, like in the substrate. But of course, things are growing up from that substrate, so it's
sure,
bringing
yeah,
spores and it's bringing things out to the surface. So if you were to go sample, let's say, like do a swab sample on the side of that tree, I'm sure you would find, you know, mycelium spores out here as well. But
how
yeah, the
crazy would that
network.
be, Jeff? If I was like, all right, dude, I'm gonna dig a hole, and then somehow we could see that and observe that on a microbial level and see that the fungus registered that into wherever it's centrally located on the earth, right? That it recognized me digging a 2x2 hole in the ground.
We might be able to one day, right? I mean, like I said, they've already got like a general mapping of what this mycelium network looks like, just like the neural networks and whatever. So it's like they kind of know what this looks like, and it's only a matter of time before we have the technology to see it like acting in real time. And I think in some of these laboratories they've done this. This is how they know that like this
Oh,
network's
sure, yeah.
communicating. But give it a
Gosh.
couple years, give some AI on it, and then boom, it will have your iPhone will be able to fucking see it, right?
Well,
As much as we've fought in this episode or debated, it's brought me a lot more clarity on exactly what consciousness is. Because I thought consciousness was just self-awareness and just knowing that you exist. But here we are, we're talking about all these different things, and it's honestly kind of sort of opened my eyes as to like what consciousness really is. It's pretty incredible.
I have some really good topics coming up for you then.
You better be ready for a debate
Okay.
and not get upset
Yeah,
and
this-
defensive.
This was a good episode.
I all right. You guys want to watch this video?
Sure. Yeah. What's up?
All right. So real quick for the last giveaway, you have to be in the chat right now. So we're gonna play this video. We're gonna watch what this fungus does. It's gonna go over the Tokyo thing that we were talking about, but you have to put in the chat the word shrooms. Okay. If you put the word shrooms in it, then you will be entered into the final drawing. No repeat winners. Sorry, Skeeter. Sorry, Wowens. So only new people. Put shrooms in the chat, and those will be entered for the last t-shirt. Alrighty?
Are we removing the old names?
Yes.
Yep.
Removing
Alright,
everybody
cool.
starting from scratch.
It's gonna be only Kenzar.
That's fine. Well, for those who win should still be here, right?
If he's still here.
Still listed in the viewers.
Yeah, no, he went to bed, bro. He has to get up early as fuck tomorrow.
Oh, really? Oh man, I feel bad then. Oh,
It's
well.
11:30 here.
All right, you got this, kid. Good luck.
Classic example. Japanese are so clever at this. They there's a slime mold, called Physarum polycephalum, and they had and this slime mold is very, very good at navigating through mazes and challenges. I mean, first to food wins. The conservation of energy, is rewarded. So you
So
don't
how do
want
they
to.
set this up? They
Well,
put a little bit of it.
They did several experiments. The most fun one is they designed a nutrient, basically a nutrient like maize, replicating Tokyo in the Japanese subway system. And so they started with Tokyo, and they put oats, which is a nutritional source. They inoculated what is on this basically an agar map with all the major cities, the nodes around Tokyo, and they then makes each of those nodes had a piece of oat on them, which was a source of nutrition. The main oat was where Tokyo was. They inoculated it, and then they let the slime mold then grow. And first it grew out randomly, exploratorily, just like you would do if you're a hunter or something. You're hunting on the landscape looking for things. And then after about 28 hours, it reorganized itself in the most efficient way possible and reorganize the Japanese subway system in a more efficient manner than it's designed today. Thus, they said, not me, not Paul Stamets, this is a demonstration of cellular intelligence.
Whoa.
So this is the tip of the proverbial mycelial iceberg. What?
I don't know if that's fair. I literally watched the mold expand on all sides. It found the nutrient, right? And then it collapsed itself into that being the main pathway to the next thing.
The most efficient pathway, though, is the key.
If we had, well, yeah, but if we had done that, it would literally be just rail stations literally going everywhere until we found the next town and be like, okay, well, this is the main one. Let's X the rest of them.
Sure. Well, this is again goes back to the like you need the other piece, you need the other tool, right? Like you need the brain, you need the human brain in order to like actually make sense of what this intelligence is and decoding it and putting it into like the real world, right? Like the cellular intelligence can't build skyscrapers, but you
Right.
feed that to a human being and it goes into the brain and it does something to where it gives this person the ability to like think of the engineering needed to build a skyscraper and make it happen. Right. And I'm not saying it's like that simple or that direct, but you know, give it a few thousand years, a million years. That's the type of shit that I think the argument is trying to be made. Right.
I suppose. I suppose.
All right, let's get this last one done. We got 2 people.
Spin the wheel. All right, we got. Hold on. Give me my fucking mouse. Give me
Those
this.
who
And it's
died in
way past my
Kenzar,
bedtime.
huh?
You guys are so lucky. I love you guys. I love you
You
guys
love
so
us?
much.
Oh.
Yeah, I love you guys so much. There you go. Spin the wheel. Spin the wheel, Crystal.
We'll find
Crystal,
out it's
spin the
Kenzar.
wheel.
Oh my gosh.
For those who died is just getting wrecked today.
Wrecked.
He was the only one with his name on the wheel twice, 3 times.
Hey, all right. So for those who died, go ahead and send me your information too. I'm gonna throw one your way as well.
Damn.
Yeah.
You get the fucking the pity
The pity shirt.
pity shirt.
Hey, you know what? Hey, if they want one, they got it. Kid, congratulations to everybody who won the shirts. For those who died, been around, watched a bunch of these shows. I appreciate the support, really do. Go ahead and send your information over to
Put a glass of
infiniterabbithole@gmail.com too.
milk on that fucking shirt too, man.
Hell yeah, bro. Hell yeah. I'll spill
Bigfoot
some milk on it for you.
Put some Bigfoot milk on that shirt. Dude.
But yeah,
Bigfoot milk.
everyone else that won today, I either know in person or have open chats to. So go ahead, you better spin that wheel.
Only for those who died.
She
Let's see
already
who
closed
wins.
it.
But no, thank you everybody. This was great. 200 episodes in. And now I just got to figure out how I'm going to be able to top it for episode 300 in 2 years. So we'll see.
In person in Florida in the Shadow Band podcast studio.
Hell yeah.
And then we make a trip to NASA and we ask the hard fucking questions.
Do you guys poop?
Huh?
Yeah.
How do you
poop
open
in
up
space?
the fucking how do you open up the hatch to the never, don't let me get into it,
Yeah.
okay? Don't let me get
What
into it,
happens
it's
if
too
you have
late.
the squirts in space? We ask them the hard questions.
Yeah. That's a question everyone wants to know.
Yep.
But yeah, kid, I'll send your shirt whenever I get word that that whole thing is taken care of, because I'm not sending that shit right now.
Send me my UFO days shit.
Yeah, I still have to get I gotta go and Jake, I never grabbed his stuff last night.
Sorry, I'll
Jesus,
send
bro.
him.
I'm gonna come back for
tomorrow.
another UFO days. Leave
Well, no.
more shit there.
Well, I'm gonna send out some stuff for him and Crystal anyways, so I got some stuff to throw their way. So we could just throw it all in one thing, dude. I got you.
Got blank wall space right here.
Yeah. What are you gonna put there?
UFO days stuff.
Yeah, okay. Right. Anyways, all right. Well, that has been the 200th episode of the Infinite Rabbit Hole podcast. Thank you, everybody. 200. Jake and I. Damn, I remember when we shot episode 1 and episode -1 and -2, -3. The ones that will never be heard.
What episode did I join? Do you remember?
I think you officially started with episode 54, which is American Bigfoot.
So you've got about 150.
150 episodes.
Yeah, man.
Hell yeah.
None
yeah,
of
dude.
which were you. It's all Jeremy.
No, that's not true. ChatGPT did an episode. I did. I did 2. Right, I did 2, and ChatGPT did 1.
ChatGPT. Oh,
That was a
can't.
good episode, and it ranked in our ranks. It was on our
can't.
fucking
can't.
list.
I can't.
Listen, I just did that to prove a point. The AI is taking over, man.
We do not do ChatGPT.
No, and I did edit it.
Jeff
know,
did
it's not-
one time. He'll
I
probably
didn't-
do
I
it every
did-
time, but
I didn't copy paste it directly. I did it, and then I edited it. And I did some work on it. I didn't just spit it out. But yeah, ChatGPT did a lot.
all right. All right. Well, I got to go to bed because I got to go to work.
Me too.
All right, everybody. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for all of the years of support and helping us get to where we are today. I hope you guys enjoy the shirts. I know I enjoy my shirt. I gotta go enslave my wife to make 4 more.
Bro, this shirt's dope.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Take it easy. I'm
Later.
going to.
Bye.
There you go.
Bye.
All right, we are stopped. Oh, I gotta take